Welcome to another episode of the 40 Culture Podcast, soccer podcast for us, talking about the intersection of Black culture and soccer. Yes, this is my voice. I am still recovering, but I am still here, still standing, still strong. Got your boy here, Grego here. Got TK here in the ones and twos. We got the Delta Summer finale, so we had to bring our girls from Shea RC, Sky and Sills. Ladies, what's going on with you?
We out here. I'm not doing as well as a biracial girl's named Sydney today, but all right. I'm doing all right, though.
Hey. Sid's back in the street. That's all I'm going to say, man.
Shout out. I ain't say all that. I was just saying they're having a good weekend. You know what I mean?
Hey, all fleets are out here. We out here in the world.
Yo. Shout out to everybody who made sure to put out a last fleet before Twitter canceled that shit.
But they didn't.
Some of y'all that are out there, you know who you are. I appreciate it.
I miss Fleet Nick apparently.
No, I saw things that I can't unsee.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fleet Nick was real. Mad real. And yeah, you know who you are. Good job. What's going on?
Some of y'all like put that up. Don't ever do that again.
Yeah, that's true too. Because some of y'all, y'all thought that come midnight it was supposed to go away. You woke up next morning, it's like, yeah, it's still there. And, I mean, hey, if you got it, flaunt it. Just remember that everything goes away on time.
Nope. The internet is forever. Don't let them lie to you.
Oh man, what's going on with you, TK?
Man, nothing much. It's been a very eventful week. Yeah, a lot of great stuff that happened on the weekend. Some things that weren't so great, and some things that were just outright tragic. And we'll try to hit up on all of those things on this summer finale episode. Of course, Tony's not here. It's the first week of school, so Memphis, is running him ragged. He gives his love and everything, and of course, Mayor's out here, doing mayorly things. So it's all good. But we're glad you're here on your favorite podcast apps: Apple Podcasts, Audio Boom, Spotify, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and of course the FTCUTD YouTube channel. I'm sipping on some Rapturous. I'm still working on the Stella that our homie Chris Keel from Stella Artois gave us, and but yeah, this is local. So shout out to the guys at Three Taverns for it's a sour. It's I can work with that. So I'm not one of those IPA guys. Like, nah. That ain't how I roll. That's just not.
You don't like that bitter? That brr.
No.
You know, like all the hops.
Nah.
You be hoppy.
That actually another Three Taverns plug. They actually have it's called Rowdy and Proud. They did with one of the Atlanta supporters groups, Resurgence. Like that's probably the one IPA that I like. But like usually
Rowdy and Proud is heavy too.
Yeah, like I usually stay far away from IPAs, but that's one I can actually roll with. So if you're down here in Atlanta or in the surrounding area, get you some Rowdy and Proud from Three Taverns and whatnot. Like it's an IPA that you actually swallow. So there you go. But ladies, it's, have y'all managed to get any sleep the past couple of days? Because CONCACAF's been fucking with us. Hard.
Yeah, I did sleep. I slept well last night. I was so pissed off though. The other night. Yeah.
I mean, between USA Mexico going late, and then of course you had to go right back around. And of course, over here it's 4 a.m. 1 o'clock's not that bad for y'all.
I stayed up. She went to sleep.
Was it 1 or midnight?
It was 1.
Yeah,
she went to sleep. I stayed up because I watched women's basketball. I watched them play France.
Yeah, I think I caught some of that. The women, they can't be touched. Of course, the men, they're
I mean, they
catching
won
on.
today.
They're catching on. They're catching on. They're
There's
gaining
hope.
momentum. They're gaining momentum.
They
They
might
actually
know.
they might be able to mellow. I think they have Australia next, and we'll
Don't
see
let
how-
Patty Mills stun on them.
Yeah, Patty Mills, man.
Brooklyn Nets.
Like
Patty Mills.
it's funny to me, like how different some players play with their national team as compared to the NBA teams. Because like USA played Spain today, and Ricky Rubio had like 38 points. She's like, where's that Rubio been? Because I remember when he first got drafted, he had that kind of hype, and of course that just never happened. But like you see this, and you're like, where is this dude?
He played for his country, man. There's a picture of Dame just. Yeah, he go hard for country. There's a picture of like Dame. He's like got his hands on his hip. I forgot who he's looking at, but you can tell he's like, "Will you ball like? Why are you not balling like this in the NBA?" Like I'd be upset too. Like you can't just be balling for your country. Can you ball? Can you ball for my team?
Right. Like, can you ball for Cleveland like this? No. But
yeah.
I said the men they're catching on. They're catching on. I mean, it's honestly it's kind of unfair for the women to be as dominant as they are, but you know that's kind of been the MO for them for.
Wait, they could no. They could get humbled though. The women's basketball side because they brought some players who are seasoned.
Yeah.
And they are injured. One's injured, playing through injuries, and the other one, age, the 40s caught up. And so they were playing games and not running the offense through Asia Wilson.
Yeah.
So that's when they were.
She's a beast.
She's a beast. You got to run the offense through her.
She's the best player in this one.
If you don't run it through her, then teams have a chance to catch up, and that's the problem. But they seem to understand that, so they beat France. I don't know. Australia's probably their realest competition, but they don't have Liz Cambage, so they should win.
AKA my job.
Lord.
All right.
Hey, I typically don't, objectify women on the show, but like Liz Cambage, hey, I will beat a little spoon. I will.
Wow. Oh, you climbed that tree? Hey.
He said yes, he would.
There's no shame. I'm confident. I'm comfortable within myself.
That's good.
I feel that. I got the same vibes about somebody. I ain't gonna put her name out there, but yeah, I'd climb that tree.
Let it be known.
No. I climbed that tree.
But yeah, we got the men's and women's teams. Of course, one met a very positive end this weekend, and one not so much. Which one y'all want to go into? Do you like? Sky, you have this thing called the sippy cup, and now granted nobody ever wins Gold Cup except USA and Mexico, so I kind of get it.
Yeah,
but I'll say this: I'm proud of this. Honestly, has been a very good summer for the U.S. men. Yes. Very good summer.
I agree.
And so Sunday, Gold Cup final, Vegas. USA, Mexico, we actually pulled it off.
With the C team? Is that the B team or the C team we're calling it?
Honestly, it may have started as a C team, but I'd say it by the end, kind of B.
A B plus, really.
Yeah. And Mexico, like A minus Mexico team, maybe?
No, with Bucio and Acosta, B plus.
There's definitely guys that have definitely made a statement that they're like, yeah, you need to call us up in
Miles.
September for Miles.
Miles is
Miles is enough to where he should be a starter.
Yeah, Miles was great. He to me was the standout player of the tournament. I mean, I think Acosta's weird because we've always known he's good. I think it's just timing or whatever was going on with him.
I think that for Acosta, for those of y'all that have followed his career, he started out in Dallas, homegrown player, and he had like European buzz going like, I want to say at least 3 or 4 years ago, and then suddenly just out of the blue, he got traded over to Colorado, and
you kind of just Colorado's one of those places that, you know, it's like the NBA equivalent of going to Minnesota. Like, you don't want to go there. Like, you just man, like,
that's
why
interesting.
Colorado?
Because I think a women's team in Colorado would be stat. But go, yeah, it's interesting.
But of course, he's maintained that quality. You know, try to get his calls when he could, and yeah, I think that he definitely used this tournament to reestablish himself back into the main roster, and you know, I think he did. I think Shaq Moore shot the Pot Springs. He definitely did it because he made the best 11 of the Gold Cup. Of course, Miles.
Man, that 11 wasn't really accurate anyway. But
he definitely
really want to take a fork on the road here.
No, Shaq definitely had a very, very solid, like, to the point where I was actually kind of shocked that he didn't start in the final because he's been beyond solid. But yeah, Miles.
Yeah, he had himself a tournament and he won the Gold Cup, right? So from Kellen Acosta. So I mean, those were the two. But I mean, from the limited amount that I watched, and I watched at least some of most of the games that we played in. He stood out. You
didn't have to worry about waking up at 4 o'clock, so you know it kind of worked out in your favor.
It did, and they were in the afternoon, evenings here. So, but yeah, he stood out to me. So I think he'll definitely be like starting, or he'll certainly be in that A team or whatever we're calling it. I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One, what are we doing with Daryl?
Okay. So
it's a whole cartoon.
Delta's back in the stands, back out in the world, and back in the air. So mask up, y'all, please. Daryl, DK, for those of y'all who don't know, DK's been playing almost a year straight because he actually debuted for Orlando during this MLS back tournament. So you're basically saying since last July, he's played with Orlando. He went over to England, played with Barnsley for a couple months, came right back and jumped right in with Orlando. Then came here with the national team. I think for the most part, I think he might have had maybe a month off, maybe.
Okay.
And I think that I don't think he had a great tournament, but I put that on the fact that he hasn't had much rest, and he is running on fumes. I think that the potential obviously is definitely there. It's just that when you're dealing with a guy who's basically on fumes, you're not going to get the best performance out of him. And I think that for him, it probably would be best for him if he actually sat out a call-up or two, and just wherever he's at, say, hey, I need to sit down and just rest. Hit me up in October, November, and hopefully by then I'm a bit more fresh, and we can see where we're at. But I think that in that regard, I think that Zardes actually helped himself out a whole lot. Cause I think that he kind of got lost in the shuffle, over the past year or two because we weren't able to call up our guys like that, and so we were able to see Sargent like that in PFOC, but not Zardes. So this is his first opportunity to really kind of reestablish himself. And I think that for what we have going on up front, Zardes is your safety net because I think that he's reliable enough to where if everybody else is fucking up, you can say, okay, I got Zardes. We're okay. We're not great, but we're okay. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And and while we try to figure out Sargent, while we try to figure out Hoppy.
Yeah, Hoppy's wild, man. Because Hoppy always be shooting. He don't really care.
You know what? I saw this video on Twitter, actually right before we started recording tonight, and just how basically annoying happy he is on the pitch, because like he just does like shit that just get they'll just get on your nerves and just kind of like and then I realized I watched that and I just looked. I was like, he has those punchable faces. He really does.
A little bit. He's a little bit of like a dude, bro.
I wish I had this. I wish I had this in the show this week, but yeah, like I happened to notice it during the finals. Like whoever did his haircut needs to be slapped.
He gives me big like first year fraternity brother vibes.
Yes. Yes.
Like big time.
It's like Pledge. I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
yes.
like yeah.
He got big time Pledge Boy vibes, and like of course, depending on what institution that you went to during school, you probably know way too many that look just like him, and you're like, and I just want to just smack him upside the head, and yeah.
But you also kind of need that person, like yes. I don't, yeah.
Yes, to that point, I would definitely take him. I think that.
I mean, it's lined up. Okay, continue.
It is. He got edges and stuff. Yes, but yeah, I think you need somebody like he's CONCACAF. Like you need somebody.
Yeah.
When you go to a World Cup, this is gonna be CONCACAF. Ugh. I think
like
that's
it's not necessarily pretty, but at the same time, it gets the job done. And you know, if it gets somebody else out of their game, hey, more power to us. And you have they kind of skip to another position. You got this guy right here, Matt Turner.
This goalkeeper pool is actually looking pretty good. Yeah,
solid. And I don't know like why Berhalter called up Brad Guzan, but I want to say that it was because it was to help this guy solidify his position, because Guzan being the veteran, he has the experience and they say, hey, this is what you need to expect. That's what I want to think, because otherwise he could have been here in Atlanta losing to Orlando, but we'll get that later. All right. But yeah, Matt Turner completely on his head. And I think that there are some people who want to say that he could start over Stefan. I don't want to go that far. Like since Tony isn't here, we have our keeper number 2 here. TK, like,
are you serious?
Would you take him over Hovarth? Because Hovarth had a good tournament.
Yeah, honestly, you know what I would do is I would rotate all 3 and see who cracks under pressure first.
That's good. That's smart.
My only concern about Stephens is he's just not going to get the playing time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, I think he did very well this past season. You know, in competition.
Right.
And I think that he is too good to be a backup. Now, he might not be at a club like Man City. It might be like if it's at a top 6, it might be like that tier right below that. But he, whatever that club is, he can start easily. Yeah. And I think that, like if he's not pressing for it right now, I think that definitely by next summer, he should be like, yeah, I need to be playing more regularly. Because, like, I mean,
do we know?
To his credit, there's no other team in the world that has the kind of squad that Man City does. So you're definitely getting your a good training experience with all those players, but he needs to be playing. It's that simple.
I mean, the World Cup's coming up in a year. Right. Like he needs to be playing now.
Yeah, I agree. He's 26, so time's not on his side right now. If he gets in a solid 2-3 seasons at an EPL team, something like that.
Or he go back to Germany. I mean, like he definitely has experience there. I'm like, there's definite options for him to get what he needs. I just think that the deeper this goes, especially as it's closer to
to the World Cup next year, he's gonna have to start somewhere. Like,
I think he needs to be in the Premier League if he's gonna start for the US.
And
I don't know, something about the level of players attacking wise.
Yeah, I think that's where you prove your worth, and I agree. I think he's definitely a Premier League goalkeeper, but maybe that Europa League playoff tier team or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
he'd be great.
Dude, man.
Martinelli, you know.
Who's the Arsenal keeper right now?
Martinelli, I think.
Yeah, he could do that. I hate to send anybody to Arsenal, but you know.
Yeah, totally.
Then, and of course, we mentioned him before. We had to talk about it.
Yeah.
Our main man, Miles Robinson, Atlanta's finest. Like I said, he made a strong enough argument to where he should be starting with the main squad. It's for he lost Walker Zimmerman. I think that was against was it Jamaica?
Yeah,
and the guy didn't miss a beat whatsoever, and he kept us in games against Qatar, against Jamaica, and obviously against Mexico as well. Because like Mexico, honestly, it could have gotten ugly real quick.
Yeah, put us to the sword.
Yeah.
And thanks to him, thanks to Sands, and thanks to Turner, it definitely kept us in the game. Now, mind you, for a good while, I felt like nobody wanted to score. Nobody wanted to score.
Paul or Areola didn't want to score. Areola.
Dude. we got to know our body parts around here.
I'm like, my guy, like, just wow.
But no, I think that Miles definitely stepped up in a way that I think that for a lot of us here in Atlanta, we've kind of seen for the last 2-3 seasons is like, yeah, this is what we told y'all. And I think that because whether because of injury or COVID or whatever, it just the opportunity wasn't there like that for him to feature like that. And I think this year, because I think he also played in the January friendly, like, yeah, it was like, yeah, the time is now.
Yeah.
Like, and aside from John Brooks, because I think right now he's probably like our A1 center back.
Yeah.
Like, that's your partner right here.
That's a nice pairing.
Off wheat, stand up. Because
I was gonna say Miles out here looking like an NBA draft pick right now, but yeah.
Dude,
what do you think about Reggie Cannon?
He was okay, right?
I mean, he was hurt, so he didn't get a chance to really feature until the final. Because mind you, Powder Springs, Shaq Moore.
No, he came on.
No, he started in the final. He started at the beginning, then he got hurt, and then he came back at the in the final and started over Shaq Moore. But Shaq Moore, like, that's a guy that had kind of fell off the radar, and because like he's been playing in Spain, I think he was playing in the second division, and kind of just fell off for a bit. And I think he definitely made a strong argument to be like, yeah, like this is I should be the argument too, because I mind you, right back's kind of full right now anyway, because you got Cannon, you got Anthony Robinson, you still have DeAndre Yedlin. Depending on what mood he's in, you could probably still put Dest out on the right. So there's definitely options, but I definitely think that Shaq Moore definitely made a argument to where he's in that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I see the light.
Okay. Second question.
Okay.
Do we believe in Berhalter? Damn, I didn't mean to make it up.
You know what?
That was a hard side. That was
right. That's like my side.
No, because like
answer is, I have to see now what he does now that he has, these tournaments has provided him an opportunity to kind of split the selection pool into 3 squads, and then for essentially an audition. So I need to see what he does for the next, like for the qualifiers, you know. Then I'll be like, and then I also want to see how he plays them. So that's a TBD.
So for the Hex, would we be sending our A team?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that I'll say this much, and I think I've said this on past episodes, especially last year during the shutdown. He is probably one of the few people who greatly benefited from nobody playing, because I think that if you rewind back to where the team was back in 2020, 2019, like going back at the last Gold Cup, I would have said like back then, and I probably did that. The way we were looking back then, he was on pace to lose his job, and I think that having that time off and being able to kind of look at things from a different perspective, and then also having players who continue to develop in that time frame as well, it definitely allowed him to
save his hide.
Say again?
Save his hide?
No, I don't can't save his hide. I think that everyone was able to grow, because sometimes you're so much in the moment that you don't have a chance to kind of like take a step back and realize like, hey, like what's going on. And I think that time away where nobody was playing, it was like, okay, like what am I doing wrong and how can I address this? And I think that he was able to effectively address that in a way that you saw what happened with the Nations League. You saw what happened with the Gold Cup. Like he essentially developed a plan to where like it wasn't always pretty, it wasn't always sexy, but it ultimately got the job done. Because like all things considered, like it wasn't like we were flying on all cylinders. We had to grind out pretty much all of our games except for Martinique. And but same token, each time he found a way. And I'm not one of those guys who need to be wowed every game. I'm like, hey, did you win? I'm a Raiders fan. Just win, baby. Like,
all right.
Like that's my mindset. Like, just win.
Just come on, W.
And you know, like if you're fortunate enough, if you do get like 4 or 5 goals, cool. Like, hey, I'll love that too. But if it's 1-0, that W's still there. Those 3 points are still there. So I can't trip too hard on that. But what were your thoughts on TK?
I mean, I just feel that we probably could get rid of Berhalter.
I mean, but I look at like this, like especially at this point, if you did get rid of him, who would you replace him with? I mean, like it'd probably be harder than the home team right now, trying to find a new coach.
That's why we do this. That's why we do. You take the words out of my mouth. You know what I'm gonna say.
Hold on, we'll get there.
I mean, you could bring your boy home. He about to be out of a job.
You know what? I don't see Tata losing his job, because I feel like even for as shitty as this summer was for Mexico, at the end of the day, it's about qualification. If
they know what they have in him,
and that's what he's there for. You're there for World Cups, not for Gold Cups.
Yeah, exactly.
So
okay. Not for sippy cups.
Nope, no sippy cups. Got the big boy cups, both handles.
But he might not lose his job, but there's definitely like a
the pressure's there.
There's noise because you lost the U.S. twice.
Right,
U.S. twice. You lost. Not to mention the Olympic team. They lost in the semifinals to Brazil, so there's no gold medal for them. And so like right now, it's probably going to suck right now to be Mexico. Like it's probably like until like probably like October, you'd be like, like we look at everybody with all the side eyes right now. And you know, I think the thing that they have to their credit right now is that Jimenez might be on the way back. I know he's back training with Wolves. Cheech is still on form, so you got that in the back pocket. So it's not the end of the world.
I'm on that though, man. Like,
say what?
Coming back from injury is the.
I don't know if y'all saw the picture of Cheech today. Like, you know, like he was up in training, like he just in tears. He's like this shit is rough. Like he was hurt, and you know, of course, depending on what you're dealing with, it's not always easy to come back from injury. But I definitely think that as far as for Mexico, there were just enough guys missing from the Gold Cup squad to where if you add those guys back and they're all in form, they'll be all right. But I just think, of course, everything just stings real hard right now because, like, we were just beating these guys 2 years ago. These guys supposed to be below us, and things have changed. You know, like we have a pretty deep squad now. Like for the first time, and I said this back when the U.S. failed to made the Olympics. I'm like, this is why it wasn't the end of the world, because like you had these guys here that probably would have been on the Olympic squad that still got experience, managed to win a tournament, and now they're riding their momentum to where whenever they do get called up for qualifiers, they'll be ready. It won't be that awkward transition between, okay, I get like a January call up and then I don't see shit until April the next year. Like a lot of these guys are probably going to see time like within the next. They'll see time by next spring easily. Yeah, I think these first couple games in September and October, it'll probably be more Eurocentric, but these guys, they're on the short list. Like I said, Miles should already be there. Acosta should probably be there. Turner will obviously be there. I said, like, we'll see about DK. We'll see, because I think that there's options to where you can afford to sit him, but the book isn't closed on him at all. He'll be fine.
I mean, is it one of those things where you think you can't afford to not take him?
There's enough attacking talent to where you don't need a lot of strikers.
But if you're going to play a certain way, maybe not totally the Berhalter's coin as well, but he offers a different skill set.
He does. I think that if he is sharp, you call him up. If he is not, you ease back a bit. Like I said, let him get some rest, and hopefully later on in the fall he's good. Because
is he going back to Orlando? Like, what is he doing?
So the MLS transfer window actually ends on Thursday, on the 5th. So I would say that he needs to stay here the rest of the season. So that, because if for no other reason, then he'll get at least some time off whenever the season ends. And then come January, he can get sold off and start fresh with his new team, whether it's Barnsley or whoever. But he badly needs some time off to where he can, recharge his batteries and hit the ground running going into next year, the World Cup year and everything. But of course, we're on the second half of the show, we talk about the home team and, of course, all the moves that they're making. Like, the time's ticking because, like I said, there's only a couple days left. So whatever is going to happen needs to happen soon. So I think for his case, I'm pretty sure that he probably wants some type of resolution. But at the same time, just keep in mind that if he gets sold down and he moves to Europe, he's not seeing any real rest until next May. So, yeah. But I heard y'all had a lot of talk about this week, ladies, because while the men had a good weekend, the women did not.
Why I gotta put that picture? We had to do that.
Because that was a mean ass knee slide. First of all, that was a mean knee slide.
Like, I mean, she hit that penalty though. Like, I can't.
Yeah, she hit that penalty.
Nobody was saving that. That was a damn good take.
Hold on. While you're on that note, I had to put an apology to Alyssa Nair because.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Apologize.
Because you know, of course, y'all know it's like we're Team French all the way.
Yeah.
And because like she's been to work in WSL, she's been goalkeeper of the year. I'm like, how do you not start her? Every time that I doubt Alyssa Nair, she steps up. Because before this game here, we had the quarterfinal against Holland that went to PKs. She was on her head. Like Nair was absolutely
Stop Miedema, who's probably in the best form in the world right now.
Yeah,
I would like to have some conversations, but yes.
And of course, you could even go back to the World Cup. It's like she is big game.
Big game list.
Yeah.
Yep. Big game list. She really is. The bigger the game, the more I'm like, yeah, she got it.
And so against Canada, she got hurt early. She like hyperextended her knee and a
bone contusion.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
And so our girl 80 had went for her. And mind you, she didn't play bad or anything. Just to that PK call was just so weird though. It
was. I mean, it's one of those where like, yeah, it's a PK. It's definitely a soft one, and like I don't know where Tierna Davison was supposed to put her leg because she had already kicked it out. So it was very heads up by Deanne Rose, who very much saw that her team in no way, shape, or form was going to score in the run of play. She came on and made something happen.
And it was like why are you just like all of a sudden like you're running from the ball, then all of a sudden like you just flying to the ground like what happened?
Well, and my biggest issue is there was no way that was going to be a goal scoring.
Right.
So like that's the other thing. I think that I'm like it's very soft. I would not have called it.
Yeah,
but Canadian fans would say turnabout is fair play. So
the thing is with that PK, the issue is the VAR called to go check, but it's like they didn't look at what happened before because Tierna Davison was trying to clear the ball and she was literally kicking the ball out of the back of the off the pitch when Deanna Rose literally came slamming into her. Deanna Rose literally fouled Tierna.
Oh yeah, she flew into her.
She flew into her. And part of it was because when they were passing the ball back, if you paid attention during the game, Tierna was like kind of slow clearing the ball. And she took that opportunity to go try to get the ball off of her, but she went slamming into Tierna. And so it's like, okay, refs, did y'all not? Part of why they didn't call it a PK initially is because literally Deanna Rose went slamming into Tierna. And when they went back and looked, it's like they only looked at what happened in regards to when you had Deanna Rose like slamming Tierna on the ground.
It's like the equivalent of technically James Harden gets fouled, but he always be throwing himself into people to get the foul call. And so like I wish people would call it the other way. Having said that, we're both big on Deanna Rose. Like she's very good. And it was CONCACAF and heads up. And her team needed something because they had no shots on goal. Like they weren't going to win that game in the run of play. And she knew it.
And it actually had no business winning the game. Because if you watch the previous game when Canada played Brazil, the only reason Brazil didn't win is because for whatever reason, Brazil has this tendency to go, I ain't gonna put the ball in the net. But they did all the things that it's like the United States.
I'm so mad that they lost that shootout. I was like, because Barbara was doing her thing. And then all of a sudden, everyone just forgot how to just
take PKs.
Kick it away from the keeper. Like
and they were ahead because Sinclair missed hers. But even
with that, it was like it never should have got the PKs because in that game, if like the B has a tendency to like play around and it's like put the ball in the net. Like if they would have put the ball in the net, it never should have went to overtime. And I was like, I hope that Vlaco and them are looking at this tape because they literally gave you the game plan. It's same as the shit that it was earlier in the year. When the U.S. played Canada, like go up and down the flanks. And so you start Kristen Press and Lynn Williams that you act like you have now Lynn Williams on your roster and you burned them up. And so it was crazy that when they started the game, because I went back and rewatched. It was like, how do you not?
You wanted the torture.
I have not rewatched it.
Well, I only watched for 10 minutes and I watched towards the end with that PK. But I got so irritated because it was like, how do you not see that this team is so tired? And if you put Kristen Press on the left, put Lynn Williams on the right, like they were literally playing initially. They put Lynn Williams on the left to effectively like kind of put defense on Ashley Lawrence. But the best way to counter defense is to actually attack. So if you have Kristen Press like running all up and down that side, and you had Lynn Williams just like cooking them up on the other side, they literally play most of the people on the team in the NWSL, and both of them individually for their different teams have caused all these players problems. In fact, both of the players, they played with various players on the Canadian team, and they're like Kristen Press was forever cooking up Desiree Scott. Like it's so many players that I'm like, how do you not play Kristen and one together?
So I think overall, right? Like I haven't gone back and watched the game because I'm not there yet. But I think like overall through this tournament, I think the thing that frustrates me most, and this could be about the front line, this could be about the back line, right?
Which
it's
still. I mean, here's my thing, and like, because I me being me, I got into it on Twitter because I had a legit question because I'm like, where has Alex Morgan been during the tournament?
Ooh,
she had been there.
Okay, point.
Because I feel
what I think about Alex,
Arlie Lloyd that was used way too much every game.
Well, and it's the form and his willingness to yank Alex and not necessarily yank Carly, right, at halftime.
Right.
I mean, the truth is neither one of them is the 9 you want. Yeah. I would argue, and I've said this maybe on Twitter, the game changed while Alex Morgan was pregnant. And so I think she's self-aware enough to know what's coming behind her and that this is probably the last time she's going to start, possibly even make a squad. She's going to have to be good for club now to keep her spot. And up until this year, it ain't really been something that Alex Morgan has done. She's played for country, but not club well. But like the way she plays 9, sort of the way we've always played 9, doesn't like the women's game has changed.
Right.
You can still be a 9, but it has to be somebody who can play all the positions up front. Right. Like her teammate. Like she's not the best 9 on her club team right now.
Right.
If we're keeping, and I don't think it's particularly close. And Sydney, and to me, right now today, Sydney Leroux is the front runner for MVP.
Right.
And she's tied for the Golden Boot lead. And that team, wherever she goes, that team follows. Like she is the heartbeat. I think her and Marta are like the heartbeat of that team. And she just won. I think if say Sid Leroux is at this tournament, and particularly in this game, particularly against Canada, we're not losing that game because
we're not losing at all.
She's literally like, we're not losing that game. But you need that kind of player, right? You need the pace, which Morgan still has, right? But you need somebody to be able to run in those spaces,
right?
And run to the box, and that's not necessarily what she's doing. Now, some of it is she has defensive responsibilities.
Yeah, and that's part.
But if you're going to do that, though, you've got to have a player that can play both ways, right? She's not a two-way player.
Right. And so, actually, in this game, they let her. It made me so mad. They let her get the ball, so she got the ball, and Lynn Williams had dropped back to help defend because the midfield in the right back situation is part of this overarching issue with the U.S. Women's National Team. But they let Alex get the ball and try to run up the field. And they purposefully they shielded off Lynn so that they forced Alex to effectively act like a wing, and she couldn't get right to pass.
She's not a winger.
So they depossessed the ball. Where if you had Kristen in that position, she would have cooked them all up the field and started to win, and then they would have scored.
You in trouble if Alex Morgan is bringing the ball up. Like, there's no reason Alex Morgan should ever. She's a striker. Like, she's not good on the ball, right?
Right.
It was all she could do at like 26 to 27 to learn how to do hold up play and get the ball with her back to goal and get it off, right? Like, she added that to her game very late. But like at this point, the game has changed. Like, she cannot play outside of that one position, and that's not. If we're doing what we're supposed to do, that's not going to work. And I think, too, just in terms of balance, at no point in this entire tournament has the right side and the left side been balanced, right?
Right.
So you have Crystal Dunn on the left, but you have Kelly O'Hara on the right. That's not going to work. You have Lynn Williams on one side, but you have an Alex, or you even have, you have a Tobin dropping back, right? And she's still coming back from injury. So I think if she's healthy, that's a better move. But like, I'm looking at him like I would just put Casey Kruger on one side, Crystal Dunn on the other. I would put Kristen Press on one side, Lynn Williams on the other. Like, it's not, I would put Rose Lavelle on one side, Chrissy Mewis on the other, Katarina Macario. Like, it's the inability to balance the wings, because that's where our advantage is always going to be.
Right.
And and teams, I think the other big takeaway, teams came for our midfield.
Yeah. Like,
every team, if you've talked to Bref Priestman, if you talk to Wegman, no, she couldn't figure out how to beat it. Or you talk to the Swedish coach, it's the midfield. It's a particular player, but I ain't trying to get y'all to catch smoke.
Lindsey Horan.
They specifically targeted Lindsey Horan. Like, and she cracked. Like, she's been bad in any position you put her in during this tournament, and she's supposed to be the midfielder that can do everything, right?
Yeah,
and the midfield hasn't played particularly well. Anyway.
And so the biggest issue, so this isn't a new thing. This has happened since the World Cup. Because understand, they won games on penalty kicks by making Rapinoe. They weren't actually scoring goals because you actually had somebody like Kristen Press on the bench.
Mind you, the women only won one game outright this whole tournament.
Yeah.
Yes.
They won one on PKs, yeah.
But still, part of it, you have goals that were called back. But still, it's like, who did you put out there? Because even if you go back to the Swedish game, that game was a funky game where Kristen and Carly should have had 2 goals outright, because they literally were in front of the goal, kicked the ball in the goal, it goes in. And it probably was one of those days that it was down. But from what we've seen recently, they were overtraining in the heat. So they arrived to the tournament tired. Yeah. And so U.S. Women's National Team tired versus everybody else is tired is, okay, so they're now a normal team.
Level playing field.
That was something that I found very interesting, because I read this article that came out, I think it was yesterday, Monday, after the loss, and of course it's always interesting, like how things come out when things are down.
And, they go off the rails.
They're like, yeah, everything was tense going into the send-off series, like clearly the whatever energy that was there going to Tokyo was particularly great. I don't know if it's just because Black Coat was just stupid and just didn't want to bring Midge. Of course, what did I tell everybody? What did I tell everybody?
So the two glaring, right. So I will say this. I absolutely have issues with this roster selection.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. There's also enough talent on this roster that we could still won a gold medal.
They should have still won the gold medal.
Having said that, the two biggest glaring omissions are Midge Purce and Andy Sullivan.
Yes.
Like, if you bring Midge Purce and Andy Sullivan, a lot of our problems are solved. And they're young enough where, and this would be their first major tournament, where they would get up for it, right? Like, they would be raring to go. Because you have a natural 6 in Andy, who's a better passer and a better defender at this point, right? Because Julia Ertz is on one leg and she's played 90 minutes, all except one game. Because we literally don't have any other answers at the 6, and we don't switch for tactical formations enough to pull her out of that role. He's tried to put either Sam back or Lindsay back at some point to have double 6s, but that ain't Lindsay Horan's ministry.
Yeah, she don't. She acts like somebody said she acts like a right of the left winger, whatever side. She acts like the winger instead of the midfielder. She's going to cheat. She's always going to cheat out. She's never going to cheat central. Yeah, so she always, and that's a problem. So when I look back at the New Zealand game, when they actually put in Katarina Macario, Katarina went and filled in the spaces where you had the spacing issues in the midfield. And so they actually helped generate the offense, because I know people giving Kristen Press credit because she is a goal machine, but part of what happened is, like, Katarina was dropping back into the spaces that were vacant in the midfield and holding up the ball, which is another issue why I play fucking Katarina Macario. And the same thing with Christy Mewis. She actually runs centrally. She will go get a goal. it's like play her because she does the things that a midfielder is supposed to do. Be a midfielder. Lindsey Horan.
Which Mewis was getting roasted? Because I feel like one was
Sam. So Sam has had not a great tournament, but I would also again argue I would play Sam centrally because Sam runs centrally, and like in the Sweden game, she caught on, right? Like she was like, okay, Sam's strength, she's a direct player. But one of her strengths defensively is she's very good at getting the ball off people. It helps to be 6 foot and solid, right? Like, ain't a whole lot of people in women's football built like Sam Mewis, which is wild because she's actually very nice. Like, she wouldn't hurt a fly. But, like, she needs to be running centrally. That is where she's most dangerous. If you look at what she did at Manchester City, when she was a threat, she's like LeBron on the fast break. She is coming down the middle. She is a load. She's good enough on the ball. You don't want any of that. People are either going to get out of the way or try to cover somebody else. And she's good enough of a shot where she can crank that from 18, and it probably is going to be on target. So you've got to play her centrally because she's going to cheat centrally anyway. Sam, to me, she can be on the wing, but you're also asking her to do a lot of defensive covering, particularly with Sweden's game plan, which was to attack Crystal, which is a sign of respect. She's the best defender we have. She's the best player we have, I would argue. And so they were like, we're not going to worry about Kelly O'Hara. We're going to overload it and take Crystal Dunn out of the game, which they were able to do.
Yeah, because the whole point was to overload the side with Crystal so that she either, in the beginning, she was recovering. But at some point, she'd make a mistake and they could jump in front of that and then slide behind the back line and try to score or cause a set piece. Because Sweden don't have scorers like that except one person. And so it worked. But the issue that was also happening was Sam was trying to figure out how to play with Kristen Press when they don't have the chemistry like that. And it's like, you never needed to put her behind Kristen. You need to put her behind Lynn Williams, who she plays with, so that they can have that interplay. And so in that game, she was struggling to cover to go back to help Crystal because it was like she was trying to think of how to help Kristen.
Right.
And Lindsay, the other problem was Lindsay Horan was getting plastered by Asllani. And so because Lindsay was supposed to be the 6 and was never playing the 6, Asllani actually pushed Lindsay into the spacing of Roosevelt and Tobin Heath and effectively shut Tobin Heath from coming back to drop back to help the right backs and then pushed out Roosevelt and caused mad chaos. To where you had full assault on a Crystal Dunn, which caused him to effectively shut down.
He was on an island.
So let me ask you this, because given how that game went against Canada, and obviously the supposed expectations of the women's team, where does this flight go? Because
I think unless they're
if this was a men's team. And with the expectations that the women have, he'd be gone.
Yeah, I think so. It'll be interesting, right? We're in the midst of a pandemic still, right? And that affected scheduling and the ability to schedule. I push back against the notion that we haven't played anybody. I think people have very short-term memories about that because the last few games were what we could schedule because teams from Europe wouldn't travel, right? But we've gone to Europe and played top 10 teams. That's not so that's not the issue. But I would think in terms of overall preparation, obviously the pandemic affected them, but it affected everybody, right? So there's some excuse for that, but not a whole lot.
Is it really? I feel like the women, more than anybody, of course, because mind you, when U.S. soccer says jump, the women say, hey, how long do you want us to play? Because I feel like they've been able to play probably more than any other women's team through the pandemic.
Well, and it's because their money's tied to it.
Right.
And
so I don't even think they could really even use that excuse to even if you could try to say that they haven't played anyone, they've at least been playing because again, there's a lot of teams out here.
But still, you're talking about Olympic schedule where you're playing back-to-back games, and you got to factor in this is his first tournament. So he's actually better than the last coach that played in the first tournament. He's still further along with it because the same thing, like with the last few Olympics, the women have not been medaling shit. So it's like they got a chance to medal. So if they get a bronze, it's better than what happened before. And you were going to have and actually with Jill Ellis, she had a unified team, because that's the other part. She had a unified team that won in spite of her that had better talent than what she was putting out there. and then it blew up on her in the next competition. Where in this case,
San Diego.
That's a whole nother conversation. Well, in this case, you have the issue where, I mean, let's keep it real. They have not looked like a cohesive unit that's unified since about She Believes. And so for whatever happened, whatever, because people are thinking that everything, no, they have not played like a full 11 on the field that is playing for each other since She Believes, because you got veterans who are being super selfish and trying to stat pad to try to make the team. Then that continued on past when they made the team. You got people who are kind of aware that this is their last rodeo because they know what's coming. You got people
foreshadowing, because you just brought up what I was about to ask.
What?
So there was an interview that Megan Rapinoe had, I think, like after the game against Canada, and it kind of gave the vibe of where they might realize that this might be it, but at the same time, they don't want to let this shit go. And I'm like, can anybody just tell them you're done?
So I think if there's any silver lining, one, they can still win bronze, and they were able to exorcise the demon of missing those penalty kicks in 2016 in that same round, right? Against a quality European opponent. But I think losing will expedite some of what I think we're at the point where your hand's going to be forced, right? Like either you're going to change or we're not winning the tournament.
Yeah. Like,
and so you don't have a choice. And the league, and it's in your league, right? It is players coming out of the NWSL. It's not,
right.
Oh, we have international players and so Like
no.
Outside of Macario, that's not true.
Yeah, you literally lost to Canada that was stacked full of NWSL players.
Right, that's the other thing, right? The team you lost to is stacked, outside of maybe Fleming and a few others, is also stacked with NWSL players.
Right. You drew with the Australia team that had a bunch of players that played in the NWSL, and
until they all left to go to the WSL.
Yeah.
And you play them again, right? So I think it would be a disservice to the league, and I think while U.S. Soccer and the league have sort of separated legally, at least, from each other, they still feed each other. And so it's a really bad look to be like, we're not going to take these players who are excelling in the league. Now is the time when the rubber hits the road and you're like, how much does league play actually matter? Because it's been a moving goalpost for a really long time.
And you got also the issue that they should have won this tournament. They are a better team. Literally, how it's constructed, we can argue about who should have been on there.
Yeah.
They had no business losing these games, except maybe Sweden. They had no business. They had no business losing to Canada. They had no business losing to the Netherlands. They had no business losing to any of these teams. They got no business losing to Australia in a couple of days. Right. They are literally better. And to get embarrassed, how they got embarrassed, I don't care if they're tired or whatever. They not like to look like that. You can't take that back. You can't take that to the World Cup,
right?
Because at the World Cup, you play a France, a Spain, or whoever.
Right. We didn't play the best teams. We didn't even play the best teams, and like. We got embarrassed. It would be different if it was a hard-fought game and we lost to Sweden. We got embarrassed by Sweden, who had been chirping the whole time.
Yep.
Like, that's not how we get down, right? And the truth of the matter is, if we send our best players, ain't no way Sweden's beating us. And Sweden knows that. If you ask Sweden for the person, if we put our best 11 out there, they don't got shit for us. Like, I'm sorry. They're very good. They're very organized. They play together.
They're very blind.
Yeah, they got the one like off-wheat person, but in a country they got way more black people, but that's a different conversation for a different day. I got something to say about a lot of them European countries that be chirping about American racism, but you got a population full of black people and no black people on your team, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Because y'all don't call it racism, it's not racism. All right. But I'm saying that to say the best teams weren't even in this tournament. Like we have the deepest talent pool in the world.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
More girls play soccer in this country than any other. Now we know with access that gets cut off at some point. But even with that, we have generationally good talent coming. Like it is, at this point, you don't have a choice. Like I do think these friendlies, we can't call it the victory tour anymore, the farewell tour. Like I think these friendlies are the end. Please. So I think 2022 January camp at the latest, it's going to look real different and quite frankly, a lot more melanated. lot of melanin. Because I think Andy and Midge automatically come because they're like, that was our bad. We got that one wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to say no to Trinity Rodman at this point.
Right. You can't say. Like, they're literally, in the NWSL, they're literally scheming. Like, the best defense in the league literally schemed
and it doesn't
just for
matter.
Trinity Rodman to take her out the game, and she still embarrassed the good sis, Sarah Gordon, on what was actually a good pass.
Who should also be in camp, by the way.
She should be in camp, too. But yeah, it's also to the point where Crystal Dunn needs to be in the midfield. She is your best midfielder, period.
She better not be a left back next tournament. Sorry.
Right. Because in this tournament, Crystal Dunn was your best midfielder. And then, honestly, it vasculates between Roosevelt and then Tobin Heath as the best midfielders. Did I say Sam or Lindsay? No. So that's a problem. And then you haven't put Katarina or Christy on the pitch at all. Additionally, Kristen Press and Lynn Williams are your two dynamic forwards where
this tournament.
That you'd have to have them play multiple games. Kristen Press might have a back injury, so that's part of how she's not starting. But it's like, you gotta figure, like, if you brought Sydney LaRue, if you brought Mitch Purse, when things hit the rails, when Lynn Williams was hurt earlier this tournament, you would have had a means to get through. So you can't go through this crap. You can't have the issue at right back where Kelly O'Hara has been kicked up.
I think Kelly's gone. I think Kelly will just peace out. Like, I do think she just want to be in DC at this point. Like, I think this is her last rodeo and she keeps getting cooked. And these girls are young and fast, and she does. Yeah, because there's too much defensive talent coming. Like, you can't justify it. You can't justify taking Kelly O'Hara when there's Lana Cook, when there's Madison Hammond, when there's Sam Hyatt, when there's Emily Fox, when there's Naomi Girma, when Casey Kruger still exists, when Tierna Davidson has absolutely made herself the standout player of this tournament. You could still drop Julie Ertz back to the back line if you really needed to. Sarah Gordon should probably be back in camp. I can name 3 more defensive players who might need to get a look. You can't justify, do you want to win or not? Like, at this point, it's not about people's egos. Congratulations, thank you for your service, all that fun stuff. We can't lose a World Cup after an Olympics. Like, that's not an option. We got to win one of them. And if Blacko wants to keep his job, we got to win the World Cup. Like, he will stay through the World Cup because you don't want to change coaches in between cycles, but he's got the World Cup.
Yeah, you got to win.
He has to win it, in my opinion.
So who wins on the gold medal game? That's Canada and
on paper, Sweden.
But they both lost it.
But I don't know. Canada got something going on, and I'm rooting for Canada because we're rooting for everybody black. And
it grows. What's good?
That's a very black team. And even the white, like Jessie Fleming's very good. I'm here for the Ashley Lawrence Renaissance or whatever we're calling it. But she's become a top 10 defender in my opinion.
I was gonna say I think Canada could win. Is the coach gonna get in the way? If she puts the right attacking talent on the field, they can cook up Sweden, and they have the defense. They can score on Sweden, and they will give Sweden a bunch of problems because the Sweden can't handle slants and shifts, which is wild. They can't handle a bunch of stuff. Like, they should have lost to Australia, but the refs came through in CONCACAF Australia. So they dismissed 2 of Sam Kerr's goals, and then somebody got red carded. Which may save the U.S. That might protect. Ellie Carpenter not playing for Australia is going to save the U.S.'s behind. But, Canada should win. I mean, this is the time to get Christine Sinclair a gold. Who Christine Sinclair has been what you need to be like as a veteran. Where you defer to the younger people. Deferring got the penalty kick in the net. It's intelligently because Christine plays on the same team with AD in the NWSL, so she knows the tendencies. Additionally, she's always, even in club play, she's like, she's dropped. She don't got to be the star of Portland Thorns. She's just like, let me where I need to be. Let the people go. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, she's an example of what you need as a player who's older. U.S. Women's National Team can learn from that shit. Because let me keep it real. While we here, Katarina Macario is not. I don't like how she's getting treated by some players because it's like a vibe I'm seeing. maybe I'm picking up wrong energies. That is like it's not welcoming because she's the next one and she's potentially taken. And so that's part of the dysfunction you got going on in the team, where there's issues from the kneeling anti-racism issue, and then we're no longer homies. We're now associates, and you can't work like that. And then for them to how long they be around each other, it don't work well.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of isolated together. They don't have freedom to go out anywhere. So that's a part of this pandemic thing. That's a problem. And then they didn't hire a sports psychologist. So that's a lot of stuff going on that they got internal issues going on top of pandemic issues and tournament issues and lawsuits and shit. That's part of how Vlatko will be saved. But he's got to win.
Yeah, and go ahead.
It's almost like I might have a little bit to talk about on this week's episode. Y'all might have a little bit to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's been a couple of days. Hopefully, my thoughts are collected.
We're gonna break down the game. We're gonna break down this. We're gonna break down this disaster class.
I mean, I'll break down some of it. I have some long-standing opinions. So.
Are y'all gonna wait until the bronze medal game, or y'all gonna record?
We'll see what tomorrow looks like.
Tomorrow, we're supposed to record tomorrow, but we could wait. We'll see.
We could, but we'll see what that looks like. I'll know when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some pretty obvious tweaks, and I'm probably gonna catch some smoke because I have.
She got some super thoughts.
But it's time. Like honestly, the future should start after Thursday. Like
it should start. It should be like, hey Trinity, what's good, boo? You're gonna be in camp. And
when I say, as somebody who saw it, right? Like as somebody who had her on campus, though she didn't get to play in any matches, obviously because of COVID. But who knows the other players that played with her? And so who knew what the talent was? She's still better than I thought. Like she is the best of all of our best players, right? And also does things like are uniquely her, to the point where I'm like, people started having conversations about Vivian Miedema early, and I'm like, she's probably going to be better.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's an asshole. Once she's an asshole.
Had like 10 goals. And
but I think the difference is I think Trinity's good. Like her best side is the left side, but she's good everywhere. Yeah. And she's aggressive in a way that Miedema is.
And she dismantles even the best defenses. Like even looking at Miedema scoring on the United States, if you had a functioning right back situation back there, Miedema don't score no goals. So
even if I love Alyssa, but if she gets her hands on that second goal, it never goes to penalties.
Yeah, and we get out the game, we never go to penalties. And so it's like, Miedema's good, but Trinity Rodman's like a whole nother level. Like put her on the national team. And she's like, we gonna win.
We haven't had anybody like that on our front line. And if you add that with like a Midge Purse, who is very often cited as the best 1v1 player on offense, right? Or, you take the vet. So I would take maybe a Sid and or a Chris. Mallory Pute's very weird because she's both a veteran and still very young. But she's having a season, right? Like I would bring Mallory Pute back because if she's in form, that's still the closest thing to Mia Hamm we got.
I feel like that's a forgotten name.
She'll be back.
She's back.
She'll be back.
She's back.
And then I would even look at Sophia Smith seems to be rounding into shape. Ciara King. I think Simone Charlie is a sneaky good pick to look out for because I think her biggest thing is decision making. Yeah. She's got all the tools. I'm trying to think but there's no true nines walking through that door. So when I was going back to you
may not need it.
Alex Morgan's self-aware. So when you talk to these young strikers or you talk to these young forwards and you ask them who are they emulating, it's a lot of international players. It's Press, it's Heath, it's LaRue. It's never Alex Morgan.
Yep.
It's never Alex Morgan. Her name does not come up.
Like Trinity Rodman straight up said she emulates Kristen Press and Tobin Heath, and you see it. And she literally, I'm talking about completely emulates Kristen Press to the point where It's like, yo, she's doing her whole cutback.
The cutback.
That took years for her to develop. She's doing that at 18. Like, my bad. Now she's 19.
And pretty effortlessly. Or like Sophia Smith is absolutely Sid LaRue. Like, she barked at somebody. I was like, oh, she's a babyface person. So like, you don't see it coming.
Yeah, but
all I know is that I need Sydney back out there.
Yeah, but we missed that attitude. Like, we missed that, like, just go get the game attitude, right? Like,
I'm going to get the game,
and you're not pushing me around. And like, we don't have like a Sid or A-Rod or somebody who's just like, we're not doing this. Like, you need that, and talent as well. Maybe not the most talented, but just having talent and then that mindset.
We're gonna get the game.
We miss that. Like, there's not a player right now, even the most talented ones, outside of maybe Midge, where I'm like, that's the person that's just gonna be like, we're gonna go get the game now.
All right.
Gotcha.
And we miss that kind of bravado. So I think you need that.
And if they exist, they're older. Well, in terms of this current team, that's there. If they exist, they're too old, so they can no longer do it. So they're not even on the field. Like Tobin Heath, Megan Rapinoe, even older Carly Lloyd, they're no longer in the shape to go, let's go get the game. If I gotta go, like Sydney LaRue literally got a ball from the defensive end and drug that crap up the field and scored a goal with her head, to end the game. To win and get a draw.
Save some of this for.
I'm not gonna give it all.
I said y'all got a lot to save. I did not know it was going to be this much.
Yeah.
I mean, we still got more. We still got more.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
for the
game. We got part 2 of the show coming up. We're actually going to talk about the home team and their beleaguered coaching search. So
that can really Atlanta-y.
I mean,
made me upset. I thought we were above this Atlanta foolishness.
Nope.
Yeah, so appreciate y'all checking out part 1. We're gonna part 2 is about to drop in a second, so stay tuned. We got more with Sky and Sills. We've got more with TK over here, so we'll have that 2 up and 2 down, all that good stuff. So stick with us. We'll be back in a bit.
This is an Alliance podcast.
Thanks for checking out part 2 of the Florida Culture Podcast. We got Sky and Sills from Shea Butter FC. We got TK over here. You good over there, man?
I don't know.
I say y'all can see the pictures this week, so y'all should be able to see me and all that good stuff. But like I said, we went. The word that I would use is granular with the women's team. Because, like, trust me, the way the summer went, I think that for the women, clearly it did not meet expectations. And for everything that y'all caught this in part 1. I said, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you're subscribing to Shea Butter FC on your favorite podcast apps. And, of course, they're with us in the Protagonist Podcast Network. And are y'all even going to even try to talk about anything else this week? Or are y'all just going to be a whole vent session?
There's NWSL games to talk about. And actually, there's a lot of black excellence. There's a lot of black excellence in NWSL. So we got a lot of stuff.
Speaking of black excellence, we have to do our Olympic update because the off week excellence has been top notch this past week. Top notch. You have the track and field started over the weekend. Tony's not here because he ran out in Tokyo and won the 100-meter dash, and so shout out to Tony. Like, I just want to know, what municipality in Italy did Lamont come from?
I'm like, first of all, I didn't know you were still making Lamonts. 2, I for damn sure didn't think he'd be in Italy.
Yeah.
Yo, my off-week brethren out here. Go get him up.
Coach was out here running in the Olympics and ain't telling nobody.
Yo, me and Lamont are the same collection.
Oh God.
Lamont out here looking like a new Capra.
Don't do that. Yo, you called him wait a minute, you called him a new Kappa.
He just went over.
Yeah, he
did.
Wow.
he looked like a brand new shaved head and everything. Somebody I did see like Dimbo Monty say something like Mike Tirico out here getting justified though with them, man.
See.
I'm screaming.
It's funny because we've definitely of course past week everything that happened with Simone Biles and just the abnormal amount of scrutiny that came with that.
Yeah.
And of course she finally did participate in the balance beam I guess yesterday.
Yeah, and it aired today, yeah.
And she won bronze.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a huge part of me that just would be like, you know what, fuck y'all. Like I'm out.
And she's Simone Biles. She could have done that.
Yeah.
And because like she got that of everything else, but she did do that last event, and she owes nobody anything, absolutely anything at all.
Yeah.
And we can only piggyback on what we went into last week. Just in, it's hard for me to understand like how people think that your mental health journey is got to be the same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
And everyone handles this shit differently, and like as I'll go into later on, like it's we saw it. We actually unfortunately saw it firsthand here in Atlanta, and like you don't know what everybody's working with out here, and so it's important to take a step back and realize it ain't you. It ain't you. Like whatever it is that you think how you would handle it, it ain't you.
It isn't, and we have no idea, right? Like I heard Michael Phelps speak very eloquently about it, right? But to be at that level, particularly in a sport that really only happens every 4 years, right? When there's this hyper focused lens on what you're doing, and I think particularly in this country, like greatness, right, and how we measure it and how we dehumanize the people who are great, right? They become a symbol versus a person. And now we found out that she lost her aunt and she had the twisties. You had all of these things sort of coming down, but we have it. So she's so great that there's an entire sport that has set up a system of judging her moves that values it less simply because she's so good and so creative
and black
and that too. That they've literally rigged the game. Like it reminds me of them tiger proofing courses, right? Like this notion that it's not, we want greatness, but also you can't be but so much greater than everybody else who's behind me.
That's
particularly
a
if they're
comparison.
Particularly if they're white, right? Like it's just, and that's exhausting. And she's still young, and that's so. There's very few people who understand that level of pressure for her.
It was wild. Is like I don't think people even like because people just see gymnastics, they don't understand. You can't be thinking when you do gymnastics. It's similar if you're breakdancing and you're doing power moves where you're doing flares where you're off the ground, or you're doing air flares or windmills. You can't think because your body doesn't do how your body actually moves is not what your brain thinks, and it takes forever for you to have the disconnect and understand the moves that you just go. She's doing crazy, dangerous flips that y'all think y'all be doing that crap at the gym with the padded stuff. It'd be safe. She's doing this where if she messes up, like they were surprised she earlier on the competition and qualifying, and then afterwards when she landed and they could see she had the twisty phenomenon. Everybody was surprised she landed, right? Because normally people tear up their knees, or they break their necks.
Nastia anybody else wouldn't have landed that, right? Like Nastia was like nobody else would have landed that. Like they would have broke their neck, busted something. The fact that she landed upright is a testament to how great she. I mean, bar none, is the greatest gymnast, right? A person who doesn't know how to judge gymnastics, I know that much. Like I know Simone Biles is the greatest gymnast to ever exist, right? And apparently the person who was going to who would have given her the biggest challenge is the sister from Brazil who ended up winning the silver.
Yes.
And her issues have been Andrade. Is that how you say it? Mm-hmm. Her issue's been injuries, but like in terms of natural talent, she's probably the closest. She isn't Simone. No one's Simone. But that's who would have given her challenges if she had been healthy. So it was nice to see that too in terms of Black excellence as well.
And also shout out to Sumi Lee.
Yeah.
For because she won all around, correct?
She won all around, and she's the first I think Hmong is how you say it. American to win any medal. And it was really, really dope to see like her whole village watching her as she got the final score, and you knew she was going to win. Because America did the Hmongs dirty, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. For those of y'all that don't know, Hmongs are refugees from Vietnam.
They've a couple of different countries, so part of that's on the United States because they used them in a war by proxy, basically, and then just left them in Vietnam, basically. But yeah, I think they are like they're tied back to China in some way.
Okay.
But they're a mixture of those different countries. But a lot of those refugees, when they could finally get here, they had to go in a roundabout way. Tended to settle in like Minnesota, California, and Wisconsin, I think, are the three major places where there's like large Hmong communities. But yeah, I mean, they down for each other, and like just to see the outpouring online of people from that community who were just incredibly hyped. And she seems like a pretty cool kid, like good head on her shoulders. And honestly, that's the legacy of Simone Biles. This team is about to, much like I think the women's soccer team will finally get there. I think the gymnastics team is about to be real Black and brown too for the foreseeable future. But it's just been it's been the emphasis on mental health, right? You could start with Sha'Carri, and you know what happened in terms of her. I guess it was edible, but her being disqualified for trying to take care of her mental health, whether you agree with how she did it or not. And then disqualifying these women from Mozambique. And Castor obviously starting before that, but the questioning of womanhood and gender, particularly with Black women athletes, particularly with dark-skinned Black women athletes, and then but also like Naomi's sort of year-long quest to really put mental health front and center, and the toll that's taken on her, and Simone Biles referencing that right when she made the decision. And even going back to Phelps self-medicating, like if you want to take it out of that realm, even our women's national team not having a sports psychologist and looking like they are mentally drained, right? It's not just a physical thing. They don't have it up in between the ears. Like that, there's something off there. And so just really being able to see coming out of a pandemic where we're all suffering a trauma. And then on top of that, the weight that's on these elite athletes to compete with no fans, no family, no babies, right? Like speaking of Alex Morgan, she can bring her kid. So she left her child to come do this, right? And this is how we played, right? So it's real out here. Like I think we're seeing the real ramifications of living in a pandemic, not even surviving it, because we're still in it. If you look at those Lollapalooza pictures, we probably about to be back to lockdown. So
listen, like as hype as that shit looked, I'm just like, I saw this Kev on stage video on Instagram, and it's like this girl like just literally like smushed, in the crowd. And it's like that's bad, even if there wasn't a pandemic. And you talked about people just rubbing up on just ugh.
All the COVID.
Delta variant just crowd surfing up and
Delta, Gamma, Lambda, all the variants just
the divine nine of COVID variants. Just
the Panhellenic cancer.
Hell yeah, man, like Jag fam, but like just super spreader events. And I mean, honestly, the Olympics may very well end up being that.
Yeah.
It's just if we went to lockdown again, I would not be shocked.
I mean,
places already are.
I still feel like, we should have had like a solid like 2 months to say, hey, everyone get vaxxed, stay home, and let this shit just sit.
Yeah.
And by the time
those 2 months would have hit, and you had that 70% herd mentality or herd immunity,
Yeah.
um, you would have gotten where you need to be. Instead, you have states that are basically doing their own thing, and we're not right back where we started from, but it ain't looking good. And
Yep.
so,
Yeah.
if nothing else, y'all do the little thing and just wear your mask. Like
Yes.
they're not even saying that you that things are limited. You can still go where you want to. Just wear your mask. Just do that. Do that. And if you
Right.
haven't done so already, stop perpetrating. Get your vax, because at least if nothing else, if you
It's
get
free.
vaxxed, one is free. In some places, you might even get paid for it. And three, it could at least prevent you from having to go to the hospital right now, where hospitals are starting to load back up. So
Right.
like you can because you can still get vaxxed and still catch COVID, but you won't. Obviously the symptoms won't be as severe. You'll more than likely live, and because I was seeing some number the other day, like where pretty much the people who are going to the hospital are the people who aren't vaxxed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do the math there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and even if you are vaccinated and you do get presumably the Delta variant, it's not life threatening, nor is it likely to do any long term damage. And actually, most people are asymptomatic. And even if you aren't going to vaccinate for yourself, babies can't get vaccinated, y'all. Like, I would hope as a society,
give a damn.
We at least give a damn about our kids, man. Like,
because
vax up for your children, because they about to send them back to school, and babies spread colds like wildfire. I can't imagine what COVID's gonna look like.
Yeah, because
I know what's going on in Georgia.
Yeah, can I tell a little bit about E?
Oh, I mean, I ain't really trying to go there right now, but maybe we can hit on that. How it's back to school first week of back to school here locally in Georgia, and the superintendent of Cobb County, where I personally live or reside, is we're not doing anything different. It's the same, y'all. We're gonna keep it just as it is.
Cobb going Cobb.
Paraphrasing.
Cobb County gonna Cobb County.
Cobb County's gonna Cobb.
That's so wild to me.
Schools at Cobb County, Georgia, like do the math.
That's wild.
Their responsibility. But then I don't want to deep dive on this one, but I mean, it's like, what the fuck are we really thinking? Like, do we care as a society? I think the answer really is no. We've already shown
for some reason, because
our kids, like last year in the middle of fucking COVID, 8 months ago, when we had them in schools and didn't want to pull them out, we're like, oh, this is more convenient. Daycare this, daycare that. That's a whole nother fucking epidemic. F-bombs. This is second part is explicit. And then if you really want to look at it, how do you think about the third trimester for pregnant women? That in COVID Delta variant, man, shit is fucked up out here right now. So the answer is we don't give a fuck about our kids or anybody.
Our immune compromised,
and that's not even factoring in
version of that.
That's not even factoring just the actual basic shit that everyone's still catching in the meantime.
Yeah.
Right.
So please, y'all.
Yeah.
Just mask up, please.
Mask up, and I don't know if we're gonna touch on this later, but I'm trying to find a diplomatic way to say this. I'm concerned about how many of y'all are admitting y'all don't wash
your ass
yourselves.
Okay.
I'm concerned.
Time out. Because I feel like y'all should definitely be having this conversation on your show, because I feel like y'all have, because women have just a more intimate conversation about this than men do. But the fact that we seem to have this conversation like every 6 to 9 months, like people who talk about it, they don't bathe but like once a week, or in Lenny Kravitz's case, maybe once a month, maybe.
No, don't tell me that. What?
That made him that made him not attractive. Yeah, that's rough.
Come on, man, give him a break.
No, he said that he'll wear the same outfit for 30 days, and then do the Dr. he'll do like the Dr. Bronner's. Yeah. Dr. Bronner's, and just rub that down for one day. Go wash your clothes, air dry them, and then do the right shit all over again. I'm like,
did he start doing this after his mama died?
That's hippie life, though, man. For real. That's
I feel like his mama would have had something to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Roxy Roker would have not.
Al, his cousin. I feel like Al I feel like that's probably not.
Nah, man, that's nasty, man.
Where Lenny?
Where is he living now? Because if you live in Florida, you can't be doing that foolishness.
I think Costa Rica, I think.
Okay.
Still, you should wash yourself.
Man, you need to wash.
And honestly, it was mostly the Mayo Sapien, so I really didn't think we were out here living like that. But Lenny be out here.
Yes, please. I know we have a healthy Mayo Sapien audience out here. Just remember, washcloths work. Washcloths work.
Hey,
preferably loofahs work better.
Yeah.
And then
a real loofah though, not them little plastic things.
And then the legs count too.
Yes.
The legs.
Arms and legs. Why did they admit that so freely? Did they all wash their arms and legs?
The thing
wash their arms and legs, man.
Like, in defense of Lenny Kravitz, man, and having been on tour for like 7 years or so, like, trust me,
it gets rough.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's rough, man.
Does he take hoe baths though? Like, does he?
Here and now we're getting to my point though.
Okay.
First of all, there's a mentality switch that happens when you get into the cycle of tour life. That's a whole different fucking podcast. Second of all, there are other options though. You can take cold baths. I would always have wipes personally. And then third, like with the arms and the legs shit, like the mentality here is if you can wipe your ass before you get up and walk out the bathroom, then you can wash your ass. So that's it.
I don't. Yeah. And I mean, we're going based off of the celebrity interview, right? First of all, how dare you be that rich and not wash yourself? Like, how dare you?
Yeah,
how dare you be wealthy?
You can have, man. You can even have the little the rainfall shower. You can have the bougie ass shower. Like you can have the bath. Like it don't matter. Even if you don't want the bath, you can have a hot tub. There's so many ways to wash. I have lived in hot. I have lived in hot places where you had to wash.
Yes, that's the other thing.
Like, how are you living in some of these hot weather climates? If you live in California, well, it depends on where you are in California. Like, if you got AC, I can see where you like once a day. But I like to do too. However, if you're like in Florida, like when you step outside, you just
Atlanta right now.
Yeah, you need two. You need to be at least two
a day, easily.
And get the COVID off.
That's the other thing. We're in the middle of a pandemic.
Like, get the COVID off.
So you just spreading your funk, spreading your germs. Talk about some. I wash, and your children. You're not washing your children every day. Talk about some. If I see the dirt, I wash them. Do you know how nasty kids are?
Yeah.
Like
kids are.
They breathe and collect germs. Like if you can see the dirt, they're well past. They got like E. coli on their body. Like who knows what's living there? But like specifically, even if that's your belief. And you want to walk around funky, even though they be like, "We don't smell." I'm like, "You smell. You just stop smelling yourself."
You smell like
you just went nose blind,
and singed all your.
And you might want to take yourself.
Oh, wait! So this goes also along with if you're gonna work out, and you can't wear the same dry fit multiple times, because people be thinking. Because it dried up, that is like no.
Oh
the funk
God!
is still there.
Oh God!
Yeah.
No.
Because people do this, and then it's like, yo, I have a phenomenal sense of smell, so I can tell. I'll be like, no. When it dried up, that's so that you didn't grow nothing on the stuff, but you still have the funk. Like you still gonna smell like ass. So you need to put it in the laundry. You need to have multiple dry fits. Yeah, multiple situations. You
can't be out here in order.
Yeah, you gotta have. But people do that. I have to say that. That's what I'm saying.
Also, the worst phrase ever. And again, I'll say two Americas, or we live in different Americas. They'll be like the pool counts.
No, it doesn't.
As a bath.
What the
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Because you got the chlorine on you.
cool off, man.
You take showers to wash the chlorine off of your body. Chlorine's not good for you, first of all.
God.
But two, you still have to scrub stuff. So not only should you get a washcloth, if you really want to learn the truth about yourself, get a white one.
Yes,
nothing tells the truth more than a white washcloth.
And a white towel to dry.
And a white towel, boy, it'll humble you. Yep. It'll humble you real quick.
You'll know real good. So people out here taking showers in the pool. People pee in the pool. So you up here
right?
Showers.
Like, oh. In no way do I get out of a pool feeling clean. First of all,
a water pool. Calm down.
It's just soup.
God. Yeah, that's a public service announcement from both FTC and Shea FC.
Please wash your ass.
Wash your ass. Yeah.
Wash it all.
Or you
wash your ass.
Wash your ass or you nasty. That's it.
But yeah.
Hey, use lotion.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
Sorry.
So that's why lotion is a thing, because if the soap dries you up, the moisturizer can take care of all that.
Yeah.
You're good. You won't be dry. You won't be ashy out here in the streets. It's okay. It's okay. Wash that ass.
What we talked about last time, you either get the Lucerne. What's the hand cream you take around, Sky?
What? No, I'm bougie. I have the CeraVe.
Yeah, that one.
CeraVe. It's like the ointment. It's super expensive, but it's the best one. And then I have my special creams.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not gonna hate though. Dr. Bronner's.
Dr. Bronner's is fly. If you're gonna use the peppermint though, dilute that stuff. Cause
I only use the peppermint.
The peppermint body wash though, dilute that because you about to burn your nethers off. That's so rough. So rough.
I'm gonna B-roll my shower process with Dr. Bronner's.
Okay.
But yes. So it's been a interesting week here in Atlanta as far as the home team goes. Of course, we're still trying to replace Gabriel Heinze, and
who's that?
We shot our shot. We tried to shoot our shot last week with Paulo Fonseca. For those of y'all who don't know, he is a guy who was one of the many Spurs coaches who turned the job down over the summer.
Dang.
Spurs coach. Can it maybe the better word.
Because they interviewed everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, given our relationship with Spurs, I guess he's like, hey, maybe he'll want to try us since he doesn't want to try Spurs. And like I say, Paulo came to Atlanta. He had a good he probably had wings with Darren Eels. I know that like they had pictures out there in the streets. Maybe he had a little hot spicy lemon pepper. Maybe.
Did we take him to a club maybe to see some performing arts?
See, so I don't know how they do it in Portugal or Mozambique. So I don't know if that's quite his thing.
Okay.
But hopefully there would have been a stripper out there that would have, got the job done. It was like, hey, I have to be here. This is where I need to be. But alas, it wasn't meant to be because we offered the job to him. He said, no, I'm good.
I'll wait for Europe.
So we are back to square one. Looks like we actually are looking at one of the assistant coaches up in Seattle.
Okay.
And trying to get his name real quick.
Not our coach, like an assistant.
Oh, because we can't get Smetzer because that would mean that he would have to realize that there's life outside of Seattle. So
okay, but Seattle keeps winning though, so
I mean, obviously, if you could,
oh Lord, here we go.
But Smetzer is like Seattle to the bone.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were going to get him out of Seattle, it'd be for the national team job.
Okay.
Start there.
I feel you.
But so like I don't expect him to leave for another club out of Seattle. It'd have to be national team. That's it.
Gotcha.
But the assistant is Gonzalo Pineda.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's been there since 2017, and
38 years young.
Yeah, he's young. He knows the league.
Does the locker room respect him?
Yeah,
they seem to.
I would say so, and like they've kept it around, and I think.
No, I mean if he comes to Atlanta.
Oh yeah.
This is hypothetical.
I think that if nothing else,
he's coming from a system that breeds stability, and we need that.
I was going to say, at least they have a philosophy and a clear style approach. So nothing else. We get a little bit of that into our wheelhouse, which I think is a good thing.
And not be toxic.
What is that?
Yeah.
Was that last word?
Toxic.
Yes.
But
and not Atlanta.
You know,
we just want to have a better season than
we just want to win games. Like we
and the Braves are still in it.
I know. They surprise us every year.
Just when you think they're done, they keep digging their way. But no, I think that we played Orlando Friday. You know, things were looking good for a quick bit. You know, you had
Joseph came back, right?
Joseph scored within 48 seconds. We actually got scored more than one goal, but for once again we blew the lead late, and Orlando came back and won 3-2. Wow. That's been one of the frustrating things that I've noticed more than things that we can't close for shit.
So, y'all are like totally channeling Atlanta sports team.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit.
When we needed,
good God,
he wasn't there, but you know, we got them in a couple months. We'll get it back, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like, you know, with this push to hire a new coach, we have been shooting our shots with like who knows how many different players, trying to just add on to try to fix our attack. We have players like Thiago Almada, who actually looks to be on his way to Atlanta from Velez, that in Argentina. We've been making bids for players in Italy. We're making bids for players in Spain. We're making bids for players in Brazil. I think one's Ferreira from Gremio. Like, I don't know, like, you know, what's changed all of a sudden, but at least we're trying to shoot our shot, because right now the season's not too far gone to where it can't at least be somewhat salvaged. But yeah, we time's ticking, because like we mentioned in the first part of the show, like the transfer window actually ends on Thursday. So like we gotta get moving, and hopefully we can get first off, we actually need some roster spots, you know, like that's probably the we need to make sure that we can actually squeeze them in and everything. But you know, hopefully we couple these guys in, and they switch things up, because all we have right now is a bunch of dribblers.
Dribble.
Not even that. I would disagree with that, honestly.
Unattached FC is available.
I mean, shoot, hey, get Crystal Dunn and go along with it. You might be winning. So
listen, I would gladly take Crystal Dunn on Atlanta. I would gladly.
Anyway, right?
Well, Atlanta needs.
And I will play her in midfield where she belongs.
Amen. And she plays midfield for clubs. I can't knock that. And I can't wait till the day Atlanta gets an NWSL team. That's gonna be lit. But lit.
Until they have Emily Sonnet and Kelly.
Don't do that.
I said the 100.
Yeah, Kelly would probably be automatic. That would definitely be automatic.
Oh my God.
Okay, so you can get away with that, but the rest of the team gotta look like Atlanta.
It's gotta be black as black.
Yeah.
It's gotta be bleedy black.
Yeah, blacker than black.
You can't have that mayo. My bad. I need to behave.
We do have a couple of the clinics now, and there's always Alfreda. Somebody got to be.
Where y'all put it? So wait. Would they play in the Mercedes? What is it called? Is it the Mercedes? The damn. Okay, if they put it into Alpharetta, or they put it into
I'm not saying put the team in Alpharetta. I'm saying representation. So
if they put it in Kennesaw, like they're not putting no Kennesaw. Who's going to go watch that crap in Kennesaw?
Representate, because you need Kennesaw representation.
That's why they put the beat.
No, you talking about Cartersville?
They played. So the beat played all over the place. They played at Hurt. They played actually in the AUC in the Morris Brown College Stadium, Herman Stadium.
So
they played over there.
In my dream of dreams, they would just clean up Morris Brown, clean up that stadium, and just like, hey,
because for the women's team, for cup games, be like, yeah, we'll just move everything over here, and of course it's right here, right by the bins anyway. So it's not like you have to go particularly far to.
They don't have the infrastructure for parking, man. That's gonna be a big thing.
You use the
right there.
Use the churches. Use the churches and crap.
Yeah, they use the churches. And
what's good, Central United? Get in that parking spot. Go park in there. Don't get yourself.
We have almost the same issue eventually down the road if it's overwhelmingly successful, which you would want. I mean, obviously, but the same issue you have with Mercedes-Benz.
There's parking.
There's ways to park. You got to park at Central United Methodist Church. I got you. Right.
Not you giving away the parking spots. All right.
I'm telling y'all where to go. I'm telling y'all. I would see. First of all, I would get dropped off. I ain't paying for no parking.
Right.
That's fair.
Y'all parking in straight places and get your car took.
Yeah, exactly.
I park over there on Elliott Street.
That particular person in town.
It's all like right there, so it's like you can't miss it. So.
Wait, does the MARTA go to?
It's like
Vine City. Yeah, Vine City.
Yeah, Vine City. No, you can't you? There's a stop like in the stadium.
Exactly. Yeah,
there's a stadium stop. Okay.
Yeah.
I personally, I can't do no MARTA.
I mean, it's a risky proposition to take.
Not with
COVID. It's risky.
Well, yeah, not with COVID 1 and 2, even before.
It was risky before. I've been on MARTA.
It's been a while. Unless I go to the airport, that's the only time I was on MARTA.
Man, it ain't that bad. It's not like.
Hold on. Where stops are you stopping at? You stopping in the east side of the Atlanta or something? Because there are times when it gets real. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
people don't mess with me though, so it's like I don't have that problem. Like, of course, not everybody can be me, so
Grego, everyone's not built like Grego. We know this.
Hey man, I used to be all up in the MARTA because I did an internship for Georgia Power in the Bruford Highway situation. So I was all on the bus and everything. I was all in the world. I had to watch, and then people thought I was Hispanic because I'm a little light.
Yeah, you get that in Atlanta for sure.
So they spin the game at me, and I was like, "Oh no, Americana, CC."
I know this phrase in the next one.
Yeah. I have an Atlanta question. I guess is Joseph staying? Because I know that was a little touch and go for a while.
I would assume so. But at the same time,
nothing's forever.
Nothing's forever, and you have to consider the fact that he's still nowhere near what he was before the knee injury, and it's compounded by the fact that you have a guy out on a bad knee that's playing on field turf, and typically you don't do that, especially in soccer, because you have players that who outright avoid playing games where field turf is involved.
Right.
So
the way opposition.
Yeah.
Totally.
Right. So I don't know. I don't expect him to like leave next week or anything, but I think that depending on where things are at the end of the season, it'll be a real hard conversation. But I think it's something that probably need to be had.
Honestly, I think because his contract goes for the next year.
You still got 2-3 more years. So it's not like he has to just leave. It's just a matter of how do you move on from that, both from a PR standpoint as well as obviously contractually, because that's going to require some money.
I think it's the wrap. I think he wants to be playing on the field and enjoying himself. I think that's really what is a part of the dynamic that helped him fall in love with the city and the team and so forth. So I think the negotiation, if any, is going to necessarily be not more, weighted in the contractual stuff. Like his agent will take care of that. They'll get it all sorted if there is going to be some sort of extension. And the PR stuff, I really think you can give two fucks about, to be honest. Everyone loves him. I think really what it comes down to is like, hey, what are you going to bring to this team? Like a Thiago Almada is what he needs to be like, okay, yes, I'm here. Atlanta is my city. I'm here to stay till I retire, as he stated,
right?
Unquote. So, like, for me, I think that's where the mentality should be focused at. And furthermore, that's what Atlanta needs. We need players who, like, as you said, like, they're all too many dribblers. Like, I disagree with that. I think, like, we need a couple more Moranis who, like, are going to take on, like, opposition players and like challenge them and like
they take on, but like, at the same time, they're not finishing.
Brooks Lennon shit ain't hitting it, man. Like I'd rather have Kristen Press.
That's what I said. She available.
You know what I'm saying? Like
unattached herself. Well,
goals. She'll get you goals. She will get you goals.
Get you goals.
Like, we need someone who is not who's successful in their take ons. Like
we need a hoppy, a guy that will just grip it.
Just gonna go, yeah.
You know, so
even if he shouldn't sometimes. You know, like
because like I was
need to be addressed in the equation on the field looks like. I think if he starts there, a lot more things domino in a good way all around the club.
I was talking to the Home Before Dark guys. I think it was like during the Gold Cup final, and they had I think it was like somebody from Mexico said that they pulled a Barco, where basically like you dribble, trying to dribble it into space, hoping that you get a clear shot, and it's like sometimes you just gotta just let it go and just take your chance. Like not every time it's going to be completely clear. You're gonna have guys that try to defend and challenge your shot. Like there's too much there's too much dribbling in that regard to where you're waiting for an open shot instead of just taking the best shot available.
Yeah, you need to talk to Unattached FC. I see. Yeah, you need to have time. But I get Kristen Press.
Honestly, for me, it's like the same thing I see with Chelsea. Like a lot of 2 times we're just like trying to pass the ball into the net instead of like to the 18-yard box and ripping a shot. Like
we need to shoot more. Unless you're Timo Werner, then maybe not.
Pressure causes cracks. And if you are a team that can apply pressure in the correct way,
I'm not about to do this.
Impressing or taking shots on goal, I think.
See how they did this?
Or the defender.
Yeah, that's I was like, wait a minute, time the fuck out. Hold on, I'm not about to slide into a Chelsea conversation.
Right.
TK was smooth with it, though. TK was smooth with it.
You went. I was like, hold the hell up. Wait a minute, come out. No, don't do that.
I'm gonna entertain this real quick. I'm gonna entertain this because, like, of course, we're about to go on our annual August break and everything, so we're gonna be gone for a couple of weeks. So I will entertain this real quick because y'all did try to just make a bid for Lukaku. So
how come you don't want us, man?
Talk about this. This is not even a footnote.
By the time we get back in a couple weeks, is Lukaku going to be a blue?
No. How come he don't want us, man? No, I don't think he is.
Back then, y'all didn't want me. Nah, I'm
right. He said y'all ain't want me when I was hot, when I won't hot in these streets. No, I think he'll stay at Inter, which is wild because Inter has no money. But he'll get his.
Exactly.
I think it'll depend on how stubborn Dortmund is, because I think if we can afford Alon, but
easy.
Dortmund is probably going to treat him like they treated Sancho last year, which is we're not going to get him until he's free.
But can y'all please go ahead and just let my man Tammy go? If y'all going to keep.
Yeah, I think Tammy should go somewhere where he can thrive. We just have too many people there, right? I think Giroud knew it was time to dip too.
Giroud just left for Milan
yesterday.
Yeah, he scored because he always scores. Like he's the weirdest 9 ever. I think just looking like that probably gives him a lot of
scored a goal,
a lot of leeway. But I think we end up with either Lukaku or Haaland. I'm not sure.
It's gotta be Haaland. Like,
I would give up a lot of people for Haaland.
I mean, that's what we're doing, and it's typical Chelsea transfer window shit. Like we wait until the last minute, which is like, oh my god, another mirror of Atlanta United. But excuse me, I wasn't making analogies that made sense. Like I'm telling you, I see a lot of this dualopathy or whatever you want to call it. It's just like almost looking at the same thing from different sides.
Wait a minute, so Atlanta United is Chelsea?
I made that point on Twitter. Yeah, I made that point, and then but then somebody
without the trophies,
not in that reference.
How we just keep on dumping out managers like it's water.
Listen, Abramovich, he don't care. Like he will fire you. Like I will give him that. He was like, yeah, you got to go. He's trying to win.
It's not like exactly. It's a mentality to win is what's causing the water to boil. Essentially, the manager to be fired. That's not what's happening necessarily in Atlanta. Like,
no,
we just got ass backwards in management right now.
They just got Atlanta management. typical Arthur Blank situations.
No, it's weird though, because I see that, but at the same time, had it been the Falcons, we probably would still be on the board right now, because like you saw how long they kept Dan Quinn. Yep. And
whoa! So that's a complicated situation. They needed to get rid of Thomas Dimitroff a long time ago.
God.
We out here with the backup. I don't even know what defense we rolling out. We gonna tap dance. I don't even know. We don't got no money. And then I totally don't think Dan Quinn intended on Dirk Cutter being the offensive coordinator.
Dirk Cutter
sucks. He sucked. We was running 85 Madden offenses in the streets up here doing. He got Julio Jones looking stupid.
Between what happened in Houston and of course all the aftermath from that, like they probably should have cut bait on DQ probably 3 years ago.
Yes, they should have. Yeah, and Thomas Dimitroff.
Yeah, and I think that what you're running into here with United is you had 2 great years, and then you had a front office that got complacent, and the results have shown since.
Yeah,
and
I don't even know if it was complacency, man, because
either complacency or arrogant.
Well,
arrogance.
Thank you. Check box B, please. It is definitely the latter, because there's a lot of the funny business. We saw the wheels squeaking. Atlanta United initially looked like a brand new car. However, there were some things that weren't quite finished. Wheel lugs were falling off as we were driving down the road. So 2017 goes by and we look still shiny. 2018 goes by and we have a little less shine, but we look settled. Nice driving vehicle. And 2019 gets here and the lug nuts start to come off.
Because you have a different coach, and then you have a whole different philosophy, and then for reasons we probably will never get anytime soon, because we still had a relatively successful year in 2019, and the opportunity was there to sign many of those guys that were there. Instead, Russell gets sent here, LGP gets sent there, Pogba goes back to Europe, Miriam goes to RSL, and what we had as far as honestly, we probably had one of the deepest squads the team has ever had.
And we still had hit names too. Like that was a thing. It was a star-studded squad. Like even having people didn't know Florentine Pogba until he came to Atlanta United. And then it was like, oh, I can relevance this with, something that makes sense to me. Like, I know who Pogba is. He's playing for Man United. Yada, yada. Like, it became a thing of relevancy. Atlanta United became in the conversation. And another thing is I've noticed when you hear people talking about American soccer from an international standpoint and basically in Europe, if they mention an MLS team, Atlanta is one of those MLS teams. So you have to continue to hold that pedigree. The arrogance that is breeding in the front office via Boca out is just a thing. And like I said, it's like my analogy with the car. It's just slowly parts or components are starting to come off. And until we pull the car over and do a proper pit stop, we're not going to get anywhere.
And that's my thing is that, the issues right now go beyond the manager. Like you basically gutted that car last year, and you took care of the back half. You didn't take care of the front half, and you're trying to get it right again, right? With these moves that you're trying to make right now, but I feel like there's a systemic issue right now that needs to be addressed. And until that happens, whether it happens now, whether it happens after the season, you're asking for half-ass results. But
I mean, we're only playing for third or last,
right.
We're playing
luckily
or whatever.
Luckily, we are in a league where there's no relegation, and about
50 different teams make playoffs, so you can make something out of this season.
Yeah, that's what's wild. But see, that's what I'm saying. But y'all are peak Atlanta team vibes.
Oh yeah, right now,
Atlanta
doesn't Atlanta Falcons.
This entire conversation is just an Atlanta sports conversation. That's all I'm sitting back.
And that's the thing is like, and I said this a couple weeks ago, like what the team has to worry about right now is that because like I know people who aren't renewing their season tickets for next year, and this isn't so far gone to where this could just go full Atlanta. Like it's that simple. And all the positive momentum that you had, those first couple years can basically just be like, okay, you're not doing those 70,000 seat games anymore. You like you might be lucky if you get the original 35 that y'all hope for. Like it might get to that
40,000, 30.
Mm-hmm.
And because ain't nobody trying to be stuck in traffic watching bad sport.
A bad sport that they don't know like that, and because like that, and like that's the thing is like because I actually was talking to LG's brother on Twitter a couple days ago, and we're talking about like the foundation was never there in the first place because Tata was only there. It's only 2 years. 2 years ain't shit. 2 years ain't shit as far as setting a foundation as far as how you want to go long term, and I think that what you had was that you had an exciting product those first couple of years that people were like, hey, I want to go here to this game. I heard the games were exciting and they're fun. And, you know, people are chanting and singing and they're scoring goals.
They stand.
They stand all 90 minutes and all that shit. And then Tata leaves. You go to the board. You had that up and down for those first couple months, and then they kind of find their groove in the summer. But for the most part, it doesn't get back to where it was with Tata. So things are the temperature starts to come down a little bit. Fast forward to last year, COVID, everything goes to shit. So you're trying to restart. You're trying to reheat that oven this year, and shit doesn't happen. So now you're trying to start it for a second time in 2 years, and people don't know what direction it's going to go anymore. And
Greg, we've been lied to, man. Like
I don't want to say it's been lied to.
No, we've been lied to, dude. Like I call it for what it is. Like, and I hate to make it like I'm not gonna pin this on Darren Ills, but like to kind of segue and break into the point you're illustrating is the fact that the direction from the front office, this is what they said. The Atlanta United would be built upon attacking, exciting football. That was the philosophy that was ingrained. All this stuff that they talked about is going to be entrenched into the club. The 5 stripes. I can go on and on. But what happened 2 years later? What, as you so eloquently just illustrated, the philosophy changed.
Yeah.
After as soon as Tata left, 2 years. So like, tell me I haven't been lied to. But no, what happened was it's like in 2019 was the will of the fans. In 2020, COVID, no fans. So 21 is a very weird year. And describe it, because I haven't been to a match since 2020, before COVID in February.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where like the energy definitely isn't the same as it once was, you know, whether it's with supporters or elsewhere. And what I was going to get to was that you have a fan base that they got caught up in the hype of United when they weren't really into soccer like that, and all they knew was United. They weren't following MLS. They weren't following Europe or anything. They just knew United. They say, "Hey, this shit's fun. I'll go to that." But once it stops being fun, and you start got to go through that grind, that's when you find out, okay, who's really into this shit or not. Because
everybody trying to watch.
No,
and somebody's trying to watch no bad football. It's similar to the Falcons. Like if you look like poo poo, ain't nobody gonna be in the Mercedes Benz. It's like the Hawks. If they look like boo boo, That's why they had to trade. That's why they had to get Trey.
Yeah.
Because you can't be relying if Luka, even if Luka's balling, but if they are 0 and whatever, ain't nobody coming to see. It's gonna be Luka by himself. He's gonna be balling by himself.
Yep.
Like a trade down was a big move, and I'm not even into the NBA like that, you know.
Yeah. But culturally, it made sense, even if he won't get that hair taken care of in like the blackest city in America. But
I just want to say it. I trade
a nice low fade would really help.
He needs to go to a brother show, and find a hairdresser. Be like, yo, what can you do with this?
And kill him,
bro. He just extended his contract. I know he got money. You can hire somebody to come to your house.
Man, yeah, you can get the whole LeBron treatment, man. You can get your hair. You get the Deion Sanders LeBron treatment where you get the hair.
I'm surprised that he didn't try to join LeBron because LeBron got about like half of
the whole NBA.
He got about half of the 2010 All-Star team at the Lakers in one day. So he got
and some young boys that can shoot. He said we're gonna try it. He said it's either gonna work or it's gonna blow up.
Like whoever the trainer is for the Lakers, bless your heart because
about to make his money. They're about to make their money. That's for sure.
Yo,
they might pull it off though. Like it's a gamble. I just want to see Nets and Lakers for 7. That's gonna
happen, man. Why you doubt it? Watch the Hawks come through and scoop somebody up. Let's get it. Get it.
That would be great. I just want to see.
You know the funny part is
personality in the Lakers team now. That would be.
I hate the Lakers.
I know obviously you got Braun like calling the shots, but I think there would be some headbutting before the end of the year.
Yes, it's gonna be interesting. It's a lot of strong personalities and people who want the ball on that team. It's gonna be interesting.
You know the funny part is that with the contract that Trey just signed and then the contract that Steph Curry just signed, Steph Curry is still only making about a third of what Messi was making with Barcelona.
Ooh, man, that's how ridiculous that contract was.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, when we get back from break, hopefully by then the white smoke will have come from the bins and we'll have a new coach, and of course we'll cover that when we get back. I don't really have a store plug this week. Of course, we'll still be open on FTCUTD while we're on break. But I actually just wanted to, I got to break it down real quick and just pay tribute to a friend of mine that he. How can I say this gracefully? He committed suicide back in June. His name is Matt Dunlap. He is a member of the Resurgence Supporters Group, the group that I helped found here in Atlanta. He was dealing with terminal pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed with that during the COVID the shutdown last year. And he had reached a point where he said like the pain just wasn't worth it. I know Matt personally, we always catered to games and everything. He's a really good dude. In fact, he helped me out a whole lot back when there were a lot of people who weren't fucking with me in the community a few years back, and just kept me encouraged in times where I didn't feel that good about where things were going, and to hear about this the way that I did, and the way everybody kind of did a couple of days ago, because this happened back in June, and people just didn't find out until, like I said, Sunday, Monday.
That's last week.
Yeah, and it's absolutely tragic. Of course, we talked about it earlier with mental health, and again, everybody's situation is different, and hopefully everyone has the empathy and compassion to understand that everyone's going through something. It might not be something that you might not see as huge, but it might be big for them. And if nothing else, make sure that you check on your people. Like we talked about that a lot last year
on the podcast, and make sure you're checking on your people. Make sure they're doing okay, because for a lot of people out here, the last year and a half has just been, in a lot of ways, hell. And this pandemic, this shutdown has affected us in all different ways, and you have here, of course, he was dealing with other shit on top of that, and it's absolutely sad that it's that it came on that I've been in touch with a lot of friends of mine that are still in resurgence, and it's been hard because especially those of us that were there, especially like during that first year, like we it's that was a tight knit group, and so to see one of us, it's not like we're old, and one thing that I preach constantly is that it is hard work getting old, and whatever we can do to help each other as well as help ourselves, it doesn't take much to just send a text, call if you can. You just say, hey, what's good, how you been? And I can only imagine having to deal with cancer on top of everything else. And so for everybody that's in the Atlanta United supporter community, of course, directly with Surgeons, shout out to the guys with Ultras Island, because they Matt was in that crew that deep in everything, and we just give our love and light, and hopefully everyone everyone heals from this as in their own way, because supporter life is a real funky tribe. I think that you have a collection of, in a lot of ways, it's just misfits, and we all become a family in our own way. And so when you have something like this, this is the family that in a lot of ways that you choose. So it hits different. So hopefully it sucks, but of course we've mentioned it before on the show. Of course, there are many different mobile mental health services. One that I've used personally is Open Path Collective. There's also BetterHelp. There's a couple others that we'll be sure to plug at the during the credits and everything. And but for any of you out there, if you are thinking about suicide, there is help out there, and hopefully you don't take it that far. But I'm gonna try to flip this. Like I said, we're going to keep it positive for 2 up and 2 down. But again, excuse me, we'll be off for a couple of weeks. Again, this is part of our mental health. Like we got to get away from the pot for a bit, take a break, decompress, all that stuff, because this can be a grind as well at times. So, like I said, hopefully you guys enjoy yourselves. For this last bit of summer. We'll be back in a few weeks, and so we're gonna come back strong. There's a lot of good shit that's happening in the fall for FTC, as well as for Shea Butter, as well as of course our fan with Protagonists, and of course you ladies. It's been absolutely an dynamite pleasure. Just getting to know you guys so far this year, and you guys are beyond appreciated for what you guys have brought to this community and to this whole environment. Like, because I think that I told y'all back at the beginning, like this, what you guys bring is was definitely needed. And I think that y'all found a strong niche, and but yeah, that's all. That's all I got. So let's try to wrap this up strong with 2 up and 2 down. So TK, start off, man. You're on mute, man.
I thought I needed it. I quickly looked up and thought I needed it, but that's classic TK for you. So that's quintessential every pod, and we move on. Honestly, I wanted to highlight on Matt as well. I'm an RSG, and I'm not really like a highly active member, but I know some of the folks, and it's just anytime like suicide happens, just like within my proxy, that shit just really, really, really hits home, and it hits me hard. And I only know Matt in passing. I've got no backstory or nothing, but it just hits the same still. Or I want to say the same, but pain is pain. And yeah, man, it definitely took a toll on me when I found out this news. So I just want to uplift, all his friends and family. Yeah, because it's just super unfortunate. And then another down that I have, I guess, is my daughter has a hand, foot, mouth disease. So
that is not fun.
Yeah.
I've dealt with that before. Cause my ex, where she had a child, and I spent a weekend over the place, and while she was dealing with it, and I thought that I was good. I went home. I think it was like Sunday night. Monday morning,
one done.
And yeah, that was not a fun day at all. And I think I had to go to court that day too. I was like, for a ticket, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. But how's she feeling?
Any reason I can't out up here today? Yes, Your Honor. She's doing better. She slept for good today. Still some concern, but we're not gonna really dive into that. But we're on the mend. I think the fever's broke for all purposes. So I think we're on the road to recovery. It's been about a week since we suspect she contracted it, and then the incubation period is 3 or 4 days. Like Grego was saying, shit is highly contagious. So I'm over here just hand sanitying only once and then washing twice. So you gotta flip the cycle on that. COVID protocol doesn't quite work, but yeah, it's just it's just been kind of shitty to see my daughter just going through so much pain. Sucks. Some parent shit, I guess. And then I don't really know on some ups, man. I don't know if I got ups, but there was some some global stuff, man. I'm sure you guys heard Kathy Lee Griffin announced that she has cancer. And then if you want to compound that, there's like some stuff going on. I guess this could be an up. Meghan McCain was just like, fuck you to the Trump family. But Meghan McCain's not really the greatest human either. So
Right.
It's like downs and like semi ups over here. I'm happy to be alive. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the podcast. We got some stuff cooking up for you. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do the pod in person today, as we had pre-planned. But hopefully, we'll be able to cook that up pretty soon after the break. So I guess that ultimately is my up. Because if I say some more shit, it's just gonna be about COVID, and I'm gonna go there. So yeah, I'm gonna pass the torch, man. Shout out to the culture. Shout out to the culture at the Olympics. because there are a lot of positive shit happening. My previous week was just affected more so with some negative shit. So that's kind of where my head is at the moment. But up to all the blacks, all the black culture being
All the blacks,
all the blacks. Yeah. But yeah, y'all get what I'm trying to say, man. Shout out to the culture, all the people under immense pressure. So keep your mentals up, check on your people, say I love you.
Cool. Sylvs.
2 up, 2 down. Work is a bit chaotic. There's just a lot of change and uncertainty. So I'm trying to keep my head down and do the things I know how to do. And the rest is above my pay grade, but it's still stressful. And our campus is going to be open, so we'll see how this goes. As the Divine Nine variant is just out here prospering, so we'll see. We do require vaccination though, so
let's tell your coach he needs to.
Oh my God, like that's another down right there. I won't say too much because we got the same boss, but yeah, that's not a good example. It's hard to be a leader of young men when you out here living wrong. Personal decision and all. Like, this is a business at the end of the day, in an academic institution, and yeah, you should be an example in some way, shape, or form as people send their children to you. So yeah, that's a down. And again, the only time we're really in the news is when something pops off. And the fact that it's not leached this time is wild to me. So yeah, I mean, but just in general, it's going to be a hard couple of weeks before classes start. And so just trying to get my mind right for that and do right by these students. And yeah, I think just sadness. I think just we're still in the midst of a pandemic. I think, with the Olympics in particular, but just in general, it's focused on mental health and how we're really taking care of ourselves and not taking care of ourselves, and what it is to insist on ourselves and find that balance to be alive and to enjoy the life that we have. And it's not promised. And I think a lot of people have made a lot of different decisions in the last 15 to 18 months that they would not have made otherwise. So it's hard, but I also applaud people for that. There's no real silver lining in almost 1 million people dying in your country from something that's highly preventable. Is probably the best way to do that, or at least we could have had a lot less issues. And I just get a little sad that we're not here to protect children and we're not here to protect the immunocompromised. Yeah, and just as a country, I feel pretty down, which is wild because the Olympics are on, right? And I think this is the only time I really feel any kind of patriotism.
It's strange because
yeah,
usually you would have these moments where it's like, yeah, you're proud to be an American, you're proud to that these athletes are representing the country, and it's like,
it's rough.
Yeah, the energy is just bad everywhere.
Yeah,
out there plus here, it's
just
I feel
odd.
Good, that feel good vibe isn't there.
Yeah, it's not quite the same. And I mean, there's still athletes, obviously. And like we said, there's plenty of Black excellence to root for at the Olympics. But yeah, and I can't even escape in soccer because my team's out here not living right. But, there's still something to play for. And so, as always, we find the best. We find the best in that. My up would be I really appreciate just the love you all shown us and 2 Cents and Protagonists and just the family as we continue to figure this out. We got some good things coming, I think, and some things we know, and I think some things we don't quite know yet. But it could come to fruition, and just the way this is taken off, it's a bit surreal. But I also believe in our talent and what we have to say. And I'm really grateful for my podcast partner, even when she gets on my nerves and I get on hers. But it's the exact person I'm supposed to be doing this with. So and it's nice to know that what we think and what we say and what's been in our heads seems to be validated. I think more than anything, it's important that the people in your life validate that, the people that matter to you. But it's certainly nice to have an audience and following, and what we say matters. And if we're making the game more accessible and bringing the culture in and making Black players safe, then we're doing our part. So I'm excited for the next 6 months and the next year to see what we can do, see what this can be. So yeah.
I'm gonna have you hit cleanup, Sky, and want to give some extra light to one of the more prominent newscasters here in Atlanta, Jovita Moore. She was diagnosed a couple months back with brain cancer, and came back last week's. I guess she got an official diagnosis called glioblastoma. It's an aggressive form of brain cancer. There's no cure for it. Of course, anybody that knows Atlanta news like that, she's been in the game here for over 20 years. She succeeded Monica Kaufman at Channel 2, ABC, and she is just classy and regal beyond words. And she had put out a statement a couple days back, and you can just hear the emotion in her voice. I mean, like it's a rough diagnosis to deal with, and hopefully they can get her to a place to where, hopefully she can beat it, because even if she never does the news again, I mean, she's definitely a person that I think that this community here is better for. So hopefully, if you don't already follow her, I said check her out, because like Jovita's a boss, and so hopefully she'll be able to make it through. One thing that we actually didn't cover in all this is there's another Kanye show. There's another Kanye show this week, and so that is where Tony is.
No.
No, he's not. But yeah, the album drops, I guess, on Friday. So I guess we'll see if them days at the Benz is gonna be worth it. So we shall see on that end. Other than that, there was a passage today. Hip Hop History Month in November, and there is an actual official day. Actually, I think it's next Tuesday. That the actual birth of hip hop, August 11th, 1973. It will be an official. I don't know if it's like you're not getting a day off for it, but at least it'll be recognized. So, shout out to the culture for that. Other than that, of course, again, we mentioned it back during part one. Those of you with your fleets, trust me, I saw y'all. For better or for worse, I saw y'all. And,
so did the Lord. No, I'm sorry.
But I'll say it like I said, and we talked about this during part one. I think the big up is definitely for the men's side, men's national team, because going into the summer, I don't think the energy was there as far as the momentum for the national team, and they definitely captured it. And so now it's just on to qualifiers in barely a month. So we'll see where things go. Like so, when we get back, we'll definitely have guests to talk about that and more. And this is my first day without med since I had my wisdom teeth pulled. So like, hopefully you guys are not tired of my voice by now. But I'm just glad to not be in a large amount of pain. So I said things are getting better, and I'm gonna take these next couple of weeks off to work on some things for FTC. So see what I can do as far as helping out Shea Butter. And like I said, it's a lot of good shit coming this fall. And I said the Avengers initiative is underway. So we got some good shit coming. So again, hopefully you guys keep rolling with us, and on the socials, on the YouTubes and all that stuff, and you know, so that's all I got. So let's close out with the Scott Jordan. Did you get your jerseys pressed yet?
No, because I've been. Oh yeah. So the down was I've been stuck in the house for a month because I have hip tendonitis, and I didn't know what was going on. So then I had issues where some tendons slammed down on my sciatic nerve. So I've been up in the house. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, sciatica is a bitch.
So yeah, I got sciatica, and it wasn't sciatica, but it took a month to go through physical therapy for everything to heal / untwist me so I could actually sit. Like I couldn't sit 3 weeks ago. I couldn't sit up in a chair. So we're here. So I guess what's down? Down is the hot mess of tactics that have been the U.S. Women's National Team on my TV at the crack of dawn. We got to do better, be better, see better. And then roster mismanagement.
Y'all woke up for some washness.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't appreciate seeing NFL, MLS, CONCACAF Econ vibes in 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. I had to just keep it 100. It was a mess. And so that's one down. Guess the other down, roster mismanagement in the vibes. Is that my down?
Could be.
Oh yeah, people won't. No. People won't get vaccinated, man. I had COVID twice. You don't want it. I didn't have bad effects. I had COVID. I had it late December, and then I got it in March because I had to still go to work. You don't want it? You're welcome. Go get vaccinated. You'll appreciate it. Be blessed. Be stressed free. Let's see. 2 ups. I guess the squad for Shea Butter FC got 700 people. So we out here in these streets, getting the squad up. Followers on Twitter. What's the other up?
Hook up your Instagram. Hook it up.
Hook it up to what? How you hook it?
This is my post.
Man, it's hard. Like it's a struggle. I guess the other up is I'm walking. And then oh yeah, I got all my jerseys. Oh yeah. So I got my J4, my Jordan 4s, UNCs. So we out here in the streets. I gotta connect. I got my joints near retail. Okay. So we out here. And then I got my jerseys. And then
I saw that one. What's tell us about that one?
Oh, it's the Philadelphia Falcons. They have a they did like pride jerseys, but then also looking at gender identity. So she, hers. But you could have got they, them, he, hers. Okay. Whatever you identify, you could have put it on a jersey. Then it's sky on the back. Then I got the Atlanta Hawks hat. Because that's the only team I'm going to show a little support. I'm just a lot. I'm still a Falcons fan. Whatever. But I'm all Falcons. I'm an all Falcons fan. There we go. Not completely. But
all birds, all talents.
Off, yeah.
All talents matter.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I guess my last up is I appreciate the homie Sills as a partner in crime, even though she got bad food takes and stuff. And
we still need that candy episode.
She's struggling to accept that.
If y'all aren't following them on socials, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, you need to hear their takes on candy. Like this is almost caused a divorce, a premature divorce.
Yeah, because I was tripping.
I'm sorry. You're the one who posted the poll and then got mad.
Well, I'm talking about the almonds because y'all don't want to eat almond joy, but y'all gonna throw out all the good. Like this is crazy. At least you don't eat candy corn, do you?
No.
Okay, so there's hope for you. But you already called ranch. You said it's musty.
Candy corn.
It is musty.
But you eat musty blue cheese. But anyway, chicken wings. Chicken wings is the best thing. At least there's hope. There's hope for you a little bit, just a little bit. But yeah, I appreciate you. You can keep it real. She was checking on me when I was up here crippled, making sure I was at the physical therapy.
Aw.
Yeah, gotta stay healthy.
Actually, got me to go to the doctor when I was up there hobbling.
Yes. Yeah. That is good. That is
yeah,
things
that was
you
good.
should do. Things you should do.
Which was good because my doctor was like, "Why the fuck weren't you in here like 3 weeks ago?" And it was like,
yeah.
But yeah, I was up in there, so we good. We about to be stallion. We about to be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be different. You gonna be like, "Ooh, look at that! Look at that sky." But we out here. Cool. But appreciate you, Shouty.
Cool. But yeah, that's like this. You got 2 parts. You got 2 episodes from us. Trust me. Hopefully, this will last you guys for a few weeks. Again, we're gonna take some time off, get our mentals together, get our physicals together. All that good stuff. And again, it's a real pleasure. Doing this with TK, doing it with Coach, with Mayor, and with all you guys. Again. Usually it's fun. Like pretty good. But yeah, we'll be back towards the end of August. For all you kids out there starting school, don't do anything stupid. Wear your mask, please. Like, y'all are dirty out here, kids. Wear your mask.
Yeah, shower. Get some cologne about you. Get some perfume about you.
Please.
Get some lotion.
But we'll still be active on the socials. You can catch the socials, the FTC
UTD,
and you can catch the ladies at SBC _podcast. And of course, we're all on IG, Twitter. Go get y'all Facebook page. Cool.
We'll see how that goes. We'll get there eventually.
We'll figure it out. But
no, you don't need Facebook. You just need a website.
Yeah,
working on it.
Yeah,
we need one. Shit.
Everybody get a website challenge. All right.
Right.
Hey,
but yeah, we'll be working on all that these next few weeks, and we'll keep y'all abreast of everything. But yeah, enjoy yourselves. Of course, by the time we get back, Europe will be up and running. So we got a lot to talk about there, and of course, the MLS will still be going. And
we're coming back, and it's silly season in full effect. Don't you worry.
But
foolishness.
Enjoy yourselves this next month. Don't stay hydrated, please. Please do that. It's way too hot out here in the streets. Just have fun. Safe, but fun. Until later on this month, for TK, Coach, for Mayor, for Sky, for Silves, for the culture. It's Grego here. Coach is real. Coach is everywhere. Mask up. Damn. And wash your ass. Wash your ass.
Yes. With a washcloth.
Yes.
All white.
And a towel. And wash your towels.
All white.
Yes.
All white.
Oh my gosh.
With bleach and a little bit of it.
Yeah. Hit it with the bleach afterwards. Yep.
All white.
Circular motion.
All white.
Circular motion. We'll see y'all soon.
All right.
We out.
And we out.